Welcome to the Foul Play YouTube channel.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the open mic number 49. And first one of the new year. Hopefully everyone's had a good Sunday, Monday for Docs in the Future on us in Australia. Late night for our European friends. And hopefully we've caught everyone here in this America and Canada and everyone else at a good time. Have a good conversation about Kuss Rd. I thought it would be a good idea I've been talking about it for actually months off and on about revisiting Kuss Rd because it's really a never-ending topic, and there's so many things that come to mind for me personally. When I look at Kuss Rd, and I'll get a little bit more into this there in a minute, but when I look at Kuss Rd, there are just a whole array of things that come to mind, from the photos. Just think where we'd be without Trooper McConnell and the Wisconsin State Patrol Reconstruction Unit and Trooper McConnell, Reese, and Judge not taking those photos at Kuss Rd. What would we have? I'm going to show you what we would have, and it's almost nothing. Few references. There are some references in the dispatch calls, but again, it's not. There's not nearly as much there as should be, in my opinion, everything considered, the vast amount of people that were there and everything that they did. So should be a good discussion. I'm not going to try. There are other things that are attached to, but also when I think of Kuss Rd, I can't think of Kuss Rd without thinking of the quarry. I can't. To me, they're tied together. It's also tied together with the dogs. I can't think of one without the other. But for purposes of today and for this introduction, as I said the other day when I said we're going to get back into this, this is going to take at least 2 parts, if not 3, because I want to get as much into it as we can for reference purposes. For us that have been around it, to re-talk about it again is always good. For those new folks that have come along to the case and picking it up, it hopefully will be something that they can gain some information from and spark some interest. So anyway, let's get over here to Discord and say hello to everybody. And Alice is able to come back and get back with us. Welcome, Alice.
Hi everyone on panel. Hi everyone in chat. Thanks very much for coming. It's nice to be back.
Awesome. Checking convictions, Linda.
Hi everybody. Great to see you.
Susan.
Hello everyone.
Awesome that you went to work and got done. Admin Yores.
Hello, everybody. Well, I started as a pineapple in the middle of the panel, but now I shift to the left, I see. Well, welcome, everybody. Glad to be here.
Just Rhonda.
Hello, everyone.
Lady Neverly.
We
Yeah,
gotta
lady.
stop meeting like this.
Sammy.
Hello, how's everybody doing today?
Sunshine Christina, welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Dr. Silkman.
Repeat after me. I am not addicted. I am not addicted. Good morning and welcome, everyone.
Yeah, I'm not addicted either, Doc, at all. I tell you, it's absolutely crazy. In thinking about all this in Kuss Rd, the number of officers involved, time, all the communication, and we can talk a little bit more about the communication, and I'll speak more of it. And there might even be a few calls that you'll hear this going on, especially, well, it's actually both. I mean, if you listen to the Manitowoc County dispatch calls and you listen to the Calumet County calls, you'll hear a lot of times as you're going through and just listening to call after call after call, but I say a more important call will come along that you know that there's going to be information imparted, and you'll hear click, 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 and there'll be a little talking. Next call. So basically, it's like they've cut out. I can't prove it. Look, this is speculatory on my part. I can't prove it, but that's how it comes across. I'm sorry, it does. Anyway, so what I thought I'd do, looking at Kuss Rd, I thought I would try to, as much as possible, look at Kuss Rd by day, per day, because we know that they really got neck deep involved on the 7th. Now I think that they probably knew that there was something odd. I think they were sniffing around pretty heavy in the core by the 6th, but nonetheless, the 7th is where we really see a huge amount of activity. But, just for our purposes, let me get this turned over here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, I said a few minutes ago, this is all really because of the photographs that Trooper McConnell took and the other officers and the dispatch calls. You can tell the heavy involvement. From the report standpoint, though, I did a little search on in the KSO Investigative Report. And would it surprise anyone to know that Kuss Rd is mentioned 4 times? And it's not, I'm not going to read through all this either, so don't get excited. We're not going to do a huge amount of reading. This is really more worthy of conversation. But literally, there are 4 reports in the entirety of the KSO Investigative Report. And there's really not that much to it, even at that. And some of it's even tied to Radant, which, he's right there. So that's not really too surprising. But nonetheless, 4 reports. And this first one's on the 5th. And as far as I can tell, this is really the first mention of Kuss Rd from Investigator Steer in his interview of Josh Radant. Again, I'm not going to read it. Everything, that's another thing. Everything that I'm talking about today are going to show or listen for everyone to listen to is linked in the video description. So please feel free to have your own look at it. And if you want to follow along or grab these documents, I pulled these documents out of the KSO Investigative Report, single reports. Because I didn't want to link the entire report. It was just easier to link it, just pull these out individually. So there's that one on 11/5. And then 11/7, there's a report from Bill Thompson. And this is a rather, it's several pages, as you'll see here. He talks about a number of different things, not just Kuss Rd, but it's right. I think it's right in here. He's stupid thing. He talks about as they finished collecting firearms and matched them, I received a phone call indicating that we need to leave the bar beyond the residence and respond to Kuss Rd for a suspicious incident. Lieutenant Link, Sergeant Colburn, and I left the bar beyond the residence at 10:58 hours. Curiously enough, I actually talked to Yoros earlier today, and I've been looking for some specific calls that I know are in the thousands of calls that we have, dispatch calls. And I was looking, actually, I know that there's one somewhere. I didn't find it, and I did spend quite a bit of time looking for it, but there is a call that I do remember that Link and Colburn were specifically requested, which I'm not going to say that's weird, but I don't know, maybe because Colburn had a camera. I don't know why they would be specifically requested. Yours, you have any thoughts on that, Dr. Silkman? Anyone? Why they would be requested to Kuss Rd?
I'm not sure if they're directly requested. I can't remember. Because, everything went to KSO. So
I could have swore that call. Maybe I'm just misremembering that call. I could be. It's been a long time. So maybe I'm just misremembering a call that I thought existed. So anyway, so they left. Anyway, to wrap that up, yeah, they left at 10:50 on 11/7. and went to Kuss Rd. We know for a fact.
There's the dispatch audio where they request certain officers to go to Kuss Rd. That's probably what you're thinking about. That occurred on the 7th.
That's the only two that I. That's the only two that I can remember specifically. I don't remember any others specifically being requested to Kuss Rd, although I know that a number of officers were called over there. I think a lot of them were called by cell phone. I think a lot of them. I think the audio's been jacked with, and names it's been cut out. And I also know that they have ghost mode or whisper mode, whatever you want to call it, within their dispatch system, so that part is not broadcast to the public. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to look some more, because we're certainly not done with Kuss Rd, and there's a few other places I want to check that maybe I missed it. But you could be right. But this is right at 11 o'clock on the morning of the 7th that they're requested over, obviously, to this find that. Okay, my mind just went blank. That the reserve deputy found the alleged rotten pallet and 2 old peat moss bags.
Bushman?
Bushman, thank you. And so they get, they get called over there. And, there's a number of things that happened after that in relation from this point forward at Kuss Rd, but we'll get more into that a little bit later. And then this third report is from John Dettering, or as I call him, Deadhead. This is also on 11/7, same day. And I'm not going to read it all, but basically he goes through and he basically says it's a nothing burger. There's nothing there. Okay, if you knew that this early in the morning that there was nothing there, then why were you there all day and up into the evening? That part just not going to fly for me. I know it probably doesn't for anyone else either. This fourth report is a supplemental from Rick Reimer, and it's just a quick mention, and he actually is talking about that one of the dog handlers, Sarah Fausk, and Loof. So, and he's talking about Fausk and I walked into the Radant quarry and field area on different tracks, covered approximately 5 to 10 miles. And there was just a little small mention there of Kuss Rd. And that, my friends, is the end. And this is, I can't remember what page, but this is actually very early in the Queso Investigative Report. That is the end of any mention of Kuss Rd for Queso. With that said, I thought, okay, and I couldn't remember. I also asked George about this, if he could recall any mentioning of Kuss Rd within the DCI reports that we have, that he and Rookie were able to get. And, like me, he didn't really recall anything. But, memory plays tricks. But I went through, he's got a spreadsheet with some summaries. And, I just flipped through that just to see if there was anything in there that could even potentially be a part of the Kuss Rd thing. And this last one is a DCI report. Now, look, there's no mention of Kuss Rd in here. However, and I didn't know for a long time that the DCI did their own flyover. And maybe people don't know that today, but they did. And this was done by Hunsater. Let's see, it tells here, I think. It's Hunsater and some others that they went up and they used infrared to take infrared movies, and they also took digital photographs. There were 3 tapes that were collected. According to the report, they didn't find anything. There's nothing of evidentiary value. They don't specifically name Kuss Rd, but there are some coordinates here, and I guess I just suck at plugging them into Google Earth. I did try. I couldn't get it to work. I tried that set right there, and I tried that other set, and it was trying to pull me to somewhere in Chile, and I don't know. I think I'm sure I screwed it up. But nonetheless, there's not an exact mention of Kuss Rd. I don't know how they couldn't have been near that if they were, they were that close to the Avery property. So, did they take any video of that area? I don't know. I know that they went up on the 6th. They first went up on the 6th, and then they skipped a day and they went back up on the 8th. I'm pretty sure that I have requested these 3 tapes from the DCI and it got denied. I think I did. I did several last summer, and I'm pretty sure I requested those though. Nonetheless, that's where we stand, and that's where I'm going to. Let me get this turned off here. That's where I'm going to pause, and so we can discuss this just a little bit. And I'm actually going to ask Dr. Silkman, because I know he's got an appointment coming up and he's got to go. So I want to get his thoughts before we move forward.
Yeah, thanks, Jack 61. Yes, unfortunately, I've got to go soon. I've got a hospital appointment. But the amazing thing, and you highlighted it very succinctly, there's an incredible disconnect, and that is when you compare the reports that are present in CASO and other DCI report, you can actually see that there's a minimal discussion, minimal expansion about anything that occurred at Kuss Rd, right? So if you're looking at reports-wise, there's really nothing to see here. And yet, quite clearly, it doesn't match up when you have a look at all the extensive photography and the mere factor that the guys were out there doing 3D reconstruction of that area. So, and also there's a lot of aerial footage as well. So when you think about it, that's incredible. So from a photographic point of view, we can actually see that there's a huge amount of resources there, right? That's undeniable. Yet, from a report standpoint, there is very, very little. And this, to me, indicates quite clearly that whatever was found at Kuss Rd was deep-sixed, right? It wasn't to be discussed. It wasn't to be expanded upon. So we have this incredible disconnect. Now, the question is this, right? Was this a deliberate thing? Did anything really happen at Kuss Rd? Or as we know, what Andrew Colburn said during the trial, there was nothing to see. It was a fake burial site. It was just a waste of time. So, Jack 61, we can actually end the podcast right here.
Yeah, that pretty much is it. I thought about that testimony, and yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that's pretty. Oh wait, the photos, I haven't shown those yet.
Yeah, correct. So, all of us who've done any type of research into this, there is absolutely no doubt that something of major importance was discovered at Kuss Rd. And when you think about it, who the main lead investigator was down there, Mike Bushman, if that doesn't raise red flags, then, nothing else will. And it's very, very interesting how Mike Bushman was involved originally in the arrest of Stephen Avery back in 1985, and boom, I understand that he was semi-retired, etc., but he was called back out, and lo and behold, do you have any reports by Mike Bushman, Jack 61?
Nope.
There you go. So you have all this activity, and it's documented by photographs, it's documented by video footage, etc. Yet, as you beautifully pointed out, nothing occurred at Kuss Rd. Amazing.
Well, that was another thing, and I failed to mention it, but just to double check, everything. I did go through the Manitowoc summary report. Not a word that I could find about Kuss Rd. Nothing from Colburn, and Colburn did make a couple of add-ins in there. Link, I think, had some stuff, but not a word about Kuss Rd.
Yeah. So you've got this really bizarre situation whereby, like I said, if you're looking at the reports and you're looking at this case, you'll say, oh, yep, nothing was found at Kuss Rd, a peat moss bag or wherever it was. That's it, move along. Yet quite clearly from a sort of like a manpower and all the vehicles that were down there, this was huge. This was absolutely huge.
Yeah, and that brings up another question that I guess for me, and I don't remember, and I'm sure it's probably in one of the other, maybe a court document, maybe a pretrial. I can't remember who called in the Wisconsin State Patrol. When we say Wisconsin State Patrol, that sounds really good, and there is that entity, but there are different units within the State Patrol, and the one of them was this Reconstruction Unit. So who made the decision on the 5th, because they came on the 5th, they showed up, to call these guys in for something that there's no way they could have known happened yet. There's no way. So, and, and these guys, they put together, they reconstruct accidents. So.
Correct. The mere fact that we can actually see in the photographs that there are the surveillance guys. There's one guy who, I think you've seen the picture as well, Jack 61 and everyone, where there's a guy with a machine, some type of measuring device standing up on a berm looking down. So you think about it, this is the 7th, right? This is the 7th, and they've already got the guys out there doing a 3D scene reconstruction. To me, I think the guys have just realized that their crime scene has expanded vastly. This is serious. This is big. And of course, they can't allude to that in court. And it's disgusting how Ken Kratz just simply waved it off, just by a mere mention, a mere quick discussion with Erdl and also with Colburn, that Kuss Rd was a non-event. Yet quite clearly, the photographic evidence and the reports prove otherwise.
Right. I totally agree. Yep. Yours, can you remember who called in these guys, the Reconstruction Unit?
I don't. No, I don't know. But they were there from the beginning, so.
Yeah. And every day.
Yeah, every day. Up until all the quarry investigations over there, so don't know why they think that was necessary to do it, all of it, but they were there.
Yeah, that device that Doc mentioned, that's the total control unit, and that thing is used to measure items in a 3D environment, so they could get down to like really close. Remember? And so they use that specifically, definitely specifically on the garage to make that animation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, the one reason I can think of is that the distances on a big salvage yard, and to lay it all down, how far things are. I can imagine that's the reason why they got them in, so you have a bit of a better perspective on 3D images and distances and all that. Yeah,
because that thing actually does a really good job, because I guess it uses some kind of lasering, I guess. So
yeah, it measures distances between GPS locations, but I don't see the added value of a garage when you have all the pictures and then just show a garage with all 10 evidence stands versus the picture. That doesn't make really sense to me. So yeah,
plus all the argument that they went through with this the buting and string. They I'm not going to get into too much of this, but there was a lot of arguing about things that Gunn and Kratz were trying to get Austin to include in those animations that they didn't want in there, because they didn't really want the animation anyway, but because it showed perspectives and views that the normal human wouldn't be able to do, like the overhead view with the top of the garage removed. And Doc has talked about this a lot, about taking the jury out to the Avery salvage yard and let them see for themselves the actual thing. instead of this very misleading, highly misleading animation that they did.
Yep.
So, okay. I question, I guess that's probably as good a reason for them to have been called in as anything, because of their experience in reconstructing different things and their equipment, and they were a dedicated unit, I will say that they've been very good about supplying photographs and, Seeking Truth got 650 something photographs. And, I've got a good chunk of them. I don't think I loaded everything into the photo drive that I'm going to be showing, but, they've been very, they've been really cooperative, at least so far. I think that, Christine's been trying to get some things. I think there may be some things that we haven't got that may exist. Again, that's speculatory. Can't prove it. Not yet. So I know she's continuing to work on that. Right, Christina?
Yeah. Austin and them showed up at like 3:50 on the first day.
The 5th. Yep.
Yep, on the 5th. And he was with a guy named Sgt Jones from the state troopers or state patrol. But we really don't have anything that he did. So I wonder what he was up to while he was at the salvage yard.
Jones,
yeah.
I don't remember seeing any reports, but I've never requested.
Yeah, I don't either.
There may not be.
That was odd.
Well, there's so many different agencies involved.
I know. I sent a request in to April, just asking if he had any written work, that maybe didn't get filed, that just filed with their agency to justify his hours. Because, you're getting paid to be there. Don't you have to explain what you're doing when the taxpayer pays your salary?
Yeah, but see, again, if Jones is not with that Reconstruction Unit and he's with a different, posting within Wisconsin, they may not have anything at all at the Reconstruction Unit, and she may not be able to see it. I'm just saying, I don't know that for a fact, Christina, but I'm just saying that, you may have to go about getting that from a different way.
Yeah. Exactly. But I sent it in. I sent a copy of what I did is I went through, and anytime it said like state trooper or WSP, I snipped it, put it in a PDF, and sent that to April and said, "Hey, can you check and see if they have any data?" I tried to get the reanimation CD. She said she didn't have that.
I think that's an exhibit. You're going to have to request that from Calumet County or from Bob Pamperin at Manitowoc.
They were so deceptive. That whole, I don't know what they were really doing, but I know that the way they used them against Stephen and Brendan was very deceptively, because they painted the scene, right? It's like a movie.
Well, sure. They were trying to color the language, so to speak, and how things appeared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That garage was a damn mess. But if you look at the animation, there's a lot of that stuff was not in there.
Yeah, and the same with this trailer. And they put these. They said marks on roof truss.
Yes.
And what about them? It's a garage. Of course, there's marks on the roof truss. Why even? It's just, I don't know. It's intentionally deceptive.
It's ridiculous to me. Anybody that was out in the country. We had a garage and we had shit hanging all over our garage. Because we worked on cars and there are certain things we just hung up because it was just better to get it out of the way and out of the floor from that standpoint. So, but anyway. Digress.
Jack.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but T1 asked a question.
Okay.
Are you ready for it now, or do you want to do it later?
No. Do it right now.
Okay. T1 asks, Was Kuss Rd a true crime scene or staged as one to get things close to the salvage yard after the fact? Thank you, T.
That's a good question. I don't know if Dr. Silkman wants to broach that one before I say anything or not, because he's the one that's he's got the one that's got to get out of here soon. So go for it, Doc.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do have to go. There are just a couple of points. People have been asking in chat who actually discovered this incident at Kuss Rd. So I think it'll be important just to discuss initially how this suspicious incident was actually discovered at Kuss Rd. And also, Millbilly made a comment in chat, which it is actually very important. A lot of the shenanigans are over the air through radio transmissions, the chatter between the law enforcement officers. And I think you're going to be discussing that soon or at some stage, Check 61, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's going to be absolutely crucial. And I just want to make a quick point. One of the complaints, if you read the testimonies, and we've gone through them, one of the complaints was the fact that we had MTSO officers at the Avery salvage yard. Now, because of the Stephen Avery civil lawsuit, there was an agreement that MTSO were going to have a minor role, basically supply donuts and coffee, etc., right? They weren't meant to be there. Yet what is interesting is that Lincoln Colburn, who are part of the MTSO, they were called over to Kuss Rd, I believe, twice. I know that Colburn got called out there twice, which is significant because they were at the Avery salvage yard, I believe, collecting firearms from Barbie Under's residence.
Correct, that's right.
And all of a sudden, Colburn and Lang are called to go over to Kuss Rd twice. And Colburn actually writes or mentions in a report, or it's mentioned somewhere, that he helped to dig, right? Helped to dig. Now, how crazy is this when you consider the amount of people that were actually at Kuss Rd, that they had to call Colburn and Link to come over there and assist, right? Because according to the official evidence, what was found there was a wooden pallet, a peat moss bag, a bit of disturbed soil, nothing to see here. And T1 asked the question about whether it's a real crime scene or a fake one. If you knew nothing about this investigation and you only looked at the photographs, the first thing that will come to your mind is that whatever happened at Kuss Rd is representative of a typical police crime scene. Guys, would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. That's what it looked like.
The first thing that hits you is the massive amount of police tape, do not cross the line, right? So that tape was absolutely everywhere. Lord knows how many hundreds and hundreds of meters of tape that was used. And my final point is this, Jack, because unfortunately I've got to go.
Okay.
The biggest complaint that Fassbender said, and he defended why Lincoln Colburn and Remiker and other MTSO officers were at the Avery salvage site. He said, we were short on manpower, right? Remember, he said we were short on techs, investigative detectives, blah, 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 blah. So how do you explain all the individuals and trucks and personnel and equipment down at Kuss Rd for a peat moss bag? When Fassbender complained non-stop that didn't have enough people to look at the Avery salvage yard, yet so many resources, so many police chatter occurs over the air, as Millbilly had alluded to, there is absolutely no doubt that whatever happened to Teresa Hallbark, a critical event took place at Kuss Rd. Now, I would say that likely they either found cremains, burnt electronics, or something that pointed out that Teresa Halbach was at that location. And if you look at the chronology of events, you have Kuss Rd that takes place, boom, a day later, everything is found. The cremains are found, all other forms of forensic evidence are found. So there is a chronology of events that take place, but the damning thing is that everything at Kuss Rd has been suppressed. And the question is, why? Why was it suppressed? I think, guys, we know why.
And even the media was suppressed.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. And, you know, the damning thing for me is the mere fact that the dog, I'm not sure whether it was the cadaver dog or the scent dog, was actually prevented from crossing the police tape, right? Now, this is remarkable when you think about it, because you bring in the dogs to look out for your victim, correct?
That's right.
Correct?
That's
and
right.
That's their role, to sort out cremains, to sort out where Teresa Halbach potentially was. And yet, Pagel prevented that dog from crossing that line. Now, let's think about it, right? Let's think about it. Why bring in the dogs? And if this is a non-event, why would you then prevent that dog, that canine, to cross that police tape, right? It's quite clearly they didn't want to mark that as a significant find or event by the dog. It's that is my belief.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, very well put.
And or they could have found something already, so they didn't need a dog to cross over and to find it or to mess up what they found.
Well, if you think about it, right? Look at the cremains. Came in a box and left in a box. We don't have to think that there was a huge amount of material at Kuss Rd, right? So, in other words, it could have easily been picked up and removed, right? And cleaned up, the crime scene cleaned up. Because remember, there are aerial photographs that show a massive blue tarp exactly where the officers were, and also floodlights. Now, who in their right mind is going to put floodlights for just a pallet and a peat moss bag? Quite clearly, it's a very important location. Put it that way.
Well, another thing that I don't know is just a question to me. Kelly's got a question in a minute I'm going to read, but why would anybody bury an old pallet and a couple of peat moss bags? I just don't understand why they would be in the ground anyway.
That's your old weed thing going on there, buddy.
Well, okay. A little 420. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, well, I get it. Sure. I get that. And people do it. I know they do. But, yeah, and you could be right. That could be as simple as that. But,
I was going to read out Kelly's question. Maybe you do that.
Yeah. No. You go right ahead and do it.
Yeah. Well, I was pointing out Kelly's question. Kelly says, so if we're considering they are holding back nefarious findings at Kuss and they hide stuff, then why the hell do they take so much, big deal out of Kuss Rd and so much attention with so much people? Why not keep it small and hide it?
Yeah, that's
she also says the risk factor raises that someone outside the inner circle could hear or see something and blow their cover. Not all law enforcement are involved or dodgy. No, they're not, but the majority of them in this case are.
Yes.
As far as I can see, there isn't too many officers that are coming forward and saying, oh, wait a minute, I think something strange has happened here. You know what I mean? All the officers that are involved in this, from Bushman to Link to Colburn to Peterson, to the lot of them, it's all corrupt and it's all this club because they've got each other's backs. And that's just my opinion, and that has been my opinion for the start.
Well, we all got to believe that there's no one in this, 60, 70 people that are around there. No one is in a, divorced and living out of state and has things like, what the hell, I can deserve I can earn $100K from this reward, no?
Right.
But they have their pensions. They have their pensions. They have the They
Is
have
there a
all
legal
of
legal
that.
base?
It's not,
That
I mean, no
pension?
offense, $100,000 in America is nothing. It's nothing. It's no amount of money. $1 million, somebody might talk who is connected to this, but not for 100K. Their retirement's more than that.
But there is no legal basis to take anyone's pension away. Or
no, well, Nan's
there's
like
no legal basis. But if you look at the guy, I've posted about him before. There was a DCI agent who had 13 years on the job, stellar reputation. He turned in his boss. Okay, his last name starts with a B. I'll find it. He turned in his boss. His boss had like a little side hustle where he would work on guns, very common in rural Wisconsin. And he turned in his boss for illegally modifying an unregistered AK-47 to automatic fire. Right? The right thing to do. And this guy lost his job. His boss didn't get in trouble. He got blacklisted, lost his pension, and will never work as a cop again.
Well, that's where, in the state of Wisconsin, and it happens in other states too, there are supposed to be certain protections in for whistleblowers, and there's not. There's just not. So, we got a comment from Nan's Life.
Right, Nan's Life had a comment, Japs, from Nan's Life 7. I'm curious, has anyone confirmed where the ambulance came from and obtained their travel log for the day it was seen at Kuss Rd?
It was, and I'm going to play the dispatch call where there was I know that there was one ambulance in the area. There's actually two, but there was one there from I can't remember what little locale. I don't remember that. I don't know. There was one there that was that got called away. Then sometime after that, someone called and said, "Hey, is our ambulance around?" Whatever. I'm going to get the wording wrong. And whoever answered that dispatch said yes. And they said, "Well, can you send it down this way?" So there was obviously another ambulance there. As far as the logs, I don't know that those have ever been FOIA or open record requested. Nan's Life. I know that I've never done it. So that's a good question. And maybe I don't know that we can get it. We certainly can't get everything. I'm not even sure that those logs were turned in and exist. But maybe it's possible. Maybe an agency copy. I'm sorry.
The DCI agent who lost his job and got blacklisted is Dan Bethards, Bethards.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did the right thing. You don't want illegal automatic weapons on the street, especially as an officer. If you respond to someone's home and you don't know they have that weapon because it's not registered, that's dangerous. He did the right thing, and he lost his job over that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Kelly's got another comment. She says, we're talking about AMBOs being involved. We're talking about crime lab trucks and other law enforcement that have absolutely no connection to the 1985 case there. That's beyond the inner circle. Yeah, but just in my opinion, just because they didn't know about the 85 case doesn't mean to say they weren't somehow involved in this case and didn't have a clue of what they were doing. If they're being told by superior officers, you have to go here, there and everywhere, they're not going to ask explanations. Well, why do I need to go there? Why do I need to do this? They've been told that they're gone there, so they're following their orders and they're gone and they're standing at a fucking peat moss pit for 5 hours because they've been told it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's all they need to know. So yeah, there is other people involved, but they're not in the clique that is there planning the whole scenario. There is other people that are involved there where you say no, law enforcement and that are dodgy. No, they're not. But they follow orders. And with the amount of shit that's came out about this case, why has none of these so-called proper officers or good officers came out and said something? Because they know in Wisconsin they're up shit creek without a paddle.
Exactly.
But why bring them in the first place?
Well, here's
That's what
the
she said.
thing. It's there. You got to remember the population doesn't change, right? So you have Peg Lautenschlager, who was the AG when all this was going on. Yes, she's dead and gone, but who's the AG now? Her son. You have Deb Strauss, who was a major DCI agent involved in the 1985 case on the exoneration side, who volunteered after seeing what Manitowoc did to Stephen Avery. Did she volunteer to make sure it didn't happen again? No. She volunteered to help make sure it did happen. Her uncle by marriage, her uncle by marriage was Leroy Strauss, who was the Manitowoc police chief for like 12 years, while Kuss Rd was the Manitowoc Sheriff's Department sheriff. It's even though Remaker and Uyghur were born and raised in Manitowoc County. So yes, it's years apart, but they're still related.
Here's the thing, to Kelly's point, and I understand what she's saying. Not every officer has a nefarious mindset when they go do their job, and they're there just kind of like Al said. They put their head down, they take their orders, and they do this, and this. And I get that. And there definitely probably was, if there was something nefarious going on, something happened, that something could have gotten out, been spoken about. I don't know that. I think that, for myself, and I understand what Kelly's saying. I do. I get it. Bushman's team, I think he was group A, I think, whatever. I don't know what they saw other than some disturbed soil. Beyond that, I don't think they saw anything. I think he called it in and they got people over there. As far as who else saw whatever was there, I don't know. We don't have access to that. What they actually found, I know what they reported, but I think for me and for so many others, for that amount of police presence, it just doesn't add up for me. It's questionable from a policing standpoint, and as yours pointed out a minute ago, the resources, all the complaints that they didn't have resources to do this or that or the other thing. So, Neverly, do you have a comment?
Yes, I do, actually. So, following what we're talking about, not everybody's involved, or, how many people were involved, who was dictating all of that, then the uninvolved people, the normal, regular cops, they're doing just their job and following the orders. If they notice something nefarious, who's going to stand up to their sheriff?
That's the other part of it.
It's not as easy as it sounds.
No, it's not. It really isn't. I get that.
Yeah. So it's very hard to stand up and to say something because they know. Plus, not to talk about the thin blue line or thick blue line.
And it seems like, honestly, I don't know if it's all cops, but these are not generally, like, even the ones, they're bad people. Like multiple DUIs, multiple, like they don't even care when they hire them, that they don't have morals. Like, or, like their ethics are screwed up. I guess they're desperate in Wisconsin because it's so friggin' cold that they don't have many requirements to be an officer. That's
many small departments though. That's not just it's not just special to Manitowoc or Wisconsin, I should say. It happens everywhere. But
you get what you pay for.
Yours?
Yeah, I was wondering because this is only about a quarter of a mile away, right?
Yeah, we're actually going to see a photo. I'm going to let you continue to talk. We're going to see a photo from Kuss Road to the back of Stephen's trailer. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, well, the question I had is like, what would be the motive if, let's say Teresa was found there, or parts of Teresa, to even move her from that location? Because, even had the possibility, if they want to blame him or want to put guilt on him, to just walk a quarter of a mile over there and put her body there. Just leave it and prove it over there. Why take all the risk?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because it is right there as the crow flies. It's literally across the quarry field. You'll see it, and you're thinking, man, that's literally right there. No road there, but we talked about this a little bit. An ATV could have made it no problem.
Because they couldn't put Stephen there. That's why, I think, my opinion. Because Stephen Avery wasn't seen there, right? Where was Stephen Avery on Halloween? We only have one person who says that they saw Stephen off of his property on Halloween, and that's Dave Bagaka. Whether and take that for what it is. Other than that, he is tied to his property the entirety of that day.
Yeah, Kratz couldn't Kratz couldn't get him off the property with any certainty at all.
If you have the body at another location, then you open up the door to other people being responsible, right?
There's another thought process here, and it may this is just me throwing something out there that they may have found something that didn't have anything to do with this case at all, but they didn't want it really involved in the case because it would raise other questions. Because it goes to, and again, to me, when I think of Kuss Road, I think of the quarry, and when you think of the quarry, we know what was found there. There were human remains found there. That if it's not Teresa, they've got another huge problem. It's plain and simple. So I don't know. I don't know what they found. I just know how it appears that, because of not only the police presence, they blocked the road off and wouldn't let anyone down there. They even called down to ask if the mailman could deliver the mail. And they said yes. And then they called back and said, well, you need to get his name and address and phone number. So I don't know. To me, that just comes across as a little much, considering that mailman probably, there's no way he could have gotten down to where they were at anyway. I don't know. It's just strange to me. And it doesn't really add up as far as the presence. And then they found nothing. And they were there all day. They weren't there for a few hours and, dug up this disturbed soil and were like,
why report it at all? If they didn't want us to know about it, why did they mention it at all?
I can't answer that one.
Like, was it to justify the resources and the money and the time spent over there? Was it to cover their asses in case the media caught them over there? Was it because the aerial photography by the State Patrol caught them there? Is this why they created the fake story?
Can't answer that one. Don't know. Too much missing. Too much missing.
Maybe they did find something, but they wanted to minimize what they found, and they just reported the bare minimum.
And that's exactly what they did, Neverly. Exactly what they did.
Yep. Just like Kratz didn't want to spend 20 seconds or spend just 20 seconds on the quarry ones.
Because what's funny is we're all focusing on Kuss Road, and I think we should, for sure. But by keeping us on Kuss Road, where are we not focusing?
Well, if you follow along just with the documentation, that people don't know to get the photos, there's nothing at Kuss Road. If you don't know about the photos that Seeking God, and you don't know. I mean, for a long time, we literally didn't know about this massive investigation over there.
That's right. We only had a couple of reports.
That's right. Four mentions in Queso.
What isn't mentioned in Queso at all? the 80-acre Manitowoc County owned quarry.
Oh, well,
They
yeah, of course.
never mentioned that at all. So is this another deflection by them? Is this focus us there to keep us from over there? They're sneaky, man. It's hard to figure it out.
There's no way to know. We have way too much missing information. But, you know, I can't think of one without the other, and even including Radant into that. But anyway, with that said, you know, we can, you know, what I think I'll do is I think I'll play a couple of these dispatch calls. Remember, these are, I've not included everything. I just picked out several, not necessarily at random, but kind of at random that I thought were strange, a little different. And, you know, they go, some of them, you know, there might be a little explanation for it. Again, you have to, you know, anyone that listens to call after call after call, you'll hear these something will get asked and there won't be an answer. There'll be a click, 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 you know, and you don't get a response. Another thing that is very noticeable, especially from the Calumet dispatch calls on Channel 1 on the 7th, there was a whole series of calls that you can hear the dispatch side of it, but you can't hear the other side of it. Or you can hear one officer talking that's supposed to be talking to another officer. You know, they'll be calling like 432 to 280. 280 will answer, but then you can't hear any of their conversation. It's like it's been completely blanked out. So that's really irritating. There's so much lost. Is there any comments before I play this call? Has anybody been watching? I apologize. I haven't. Kelly says, RIP the thoughts. Devil's advocate. Time. What if Kuss was overworked to appear that they weren't tunnel visioned on Avery salvage yard, and they showing that they were following all leads, even away from the Avery salvage yard, smoke and mirrors? Well, you know, I think that if we'd had more reporting, I mean, even if we'd had one main report in the case of Investigative Report, I might be able to even see that. But since there's such a small amount of anything in the case of report, I don't know. Photos we still can't get. We know that Coburn took. They won't let us have them. Other photos that were taken there, we can't get them. So what does that mean? I don't know. They may be nothing. But then again, until we see them, I'm not willing to say that just yet. So any other comments before I move on and play us a dispatch call or two?
I just want to add that anything is something in this case. It's worth attention. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's every aspect of the case is tainted in some way to me. It's got something that doesn't shake out right. I'm not a cop.
Oh,
you know, but for me, it just doesn't shake out right. It doesn't add up. Kuss Rd's a major one. So, all right. For anyone here in the channel, if you have YouTube muted, you will have to unmute YouTube probably to hear this. Let me pull this up here. Bear with me just 1 second. This one's, I think all these are on the 7th at varying times. You'll see it there when I get over to it. And this first call that I'm going to play, I think it's talking about somebody needs some barrier tape near the little red trailer. Okay. Probably nothing, no big deal, but I'm going to play it anyway. All right, here we go. If you can't hear it, please let me know and we'll make an adjustment.
193. 193. Is there anybody available that could run us down a roll of barrier tape? Where do you need it? Houses? Down by the red trailer. You'll see it. Go for it. 196, copy.
Okay. So nothing too weird there, but there was another call, and I forgot to get it. I apologize. That went along with this. That they were calling. I think maybe I did get it, but let me load up this other one here. Let me just give me a second here. Bear with me. The second call is going to be. This call is, they're calling for a DCI, for the DCI agents, and to bring some shovels. So I thought that one was worth listening to as well. Okay. Okay, let me get back on here. All right. All right, here we go with the second call.
752 to 496. Rod, we're almost at the end of Kuss Rd. Should be a squad down there. I don't know who's sitting in it, but bring an investigator down here. We got some items that should be cleared. Got it. You may want a shovel. Yeah, but
So you may want a shovel. So clearly this is, well, we don't have timestamps for Manitowoc dispatch calls. They're just files, as you can see. They're tracks, whatever. So we don't know exactly what time this is. And there clearly are no reports. So this goes along with what I said in the beginning. We have photos, we have some audio, and we have almost no reporting. Thoughts? Somebody take it away.
Well, for a start, I mean, why does he say we've got some things that need to be looked over? You know, that like need to be verified. If there's nothing there, if it's just peat moss bag and a wooden pallet and some disturbed dirt, you know what I mean? You wouldn't need somebody to come down and say, "Oh, aye, it is. It's a wooden pallet. It's a bag." You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
We had so many vehicles, the big black dark vehicles, regular vehicles, ambulance, floodlights, crime tape. Something was covered there, remember? With a tarp?
Exactly. Yeah, Neverly,
Well,
exactly.
if it's nothing or if it's a diversion, I don't know that they would spend so much time there with, I mean, we didn't have any of that at Stephen's place. They walked away from picking up cremains because it got dark. Remember that?
That's right.
Yeah.
Where's the floodlight there?
Yeah, there was more action on Kuss Rd with the vehicles, the manpower, the floodlights, the time of night that they were there. There was more action on that road than I have ever seen in crime scene tape than I have ever seen Stephen's trailer, and that's supposed to be the murder site and the burn site where she was stabbed and raped and throat slit and dismembered and burned and everything like that. But there was more action on Kuss Rd than there ever was at Stephen's fucking trailer. How do they explain that? For a bit of wood and a bag of peat moss? Come on. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what did they cover? They didn't cover peat moss, that's for sure. Why would they cover peat moss?
Exactly, Neverly, exactly. All that for a wooden pallet and a bag of peat moss? I don't think so. Something else happened there, and it was something of significance.
And it was deep in the woods, basically.
Yeah.
That's why they had those floodlights up high, and it was in the woods. The aerial photo shows that.
If they would have spent 2 or 3 hours there, you know, doing their due diligence and digging it up properly, okay. Found out, hey, there's nothing here, everybody clears out, and they go about their business back to the Avery salvage yard. That's not what happened at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I mean, we can't playing the devil's advocate and stuff like that. Could it be a distraction and everything like that? It could have possibly have been so that they could get what they needed to get closer to Stevens, to be able to plant it on Stevens. There is just too many factors in this whole case that you cannot logically, even scientifically, put explanations on for it to make sense, if you see what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Not only that, they were still very early in the case. Very early. I mean, Stephen hadn't even been arrested at this point. He's still free. So we're 2 days before he's arrested.
I mean, they also had dogs there. They pulled Bushman out of, what was it, retirement, or is he reserve? You know, Pagel was there. All the big heads were there. It's kind of hard to believe that it was a red herring.
Well, it doesn't come across that way. Yours, comment?
Yeah, they had nothing to begin with on the 7th when they began, right? So they began searching.
Just the RAV.
Well, they planted. Yeah, they did. They just had the RAV and, well, the 4 Yonder barrels. That's basically it. Nothing else. So they began searching, and I think they made a plan to do something of the Jambo Creek area and the surrounding areas to begin with. You know, because you had to be somewhere, so not too far away. That's basically what they planned, I think. And yeah, that's how we got to this one.
Yeah, you know, I think that whatever they were doing, I think that they were, you know, I saw, from Making a Murderer, I was convinced that their whole intent was to re-jail Avery in the depositions. Number 1, re-jail Avery. Number 2, get him off the radar, and so they didn't have to worry about him. So, you know, I think that there probably were a number of scenarios that they probably were thinking about. I feel certain that, you know, even without Teresa, that there was something else going to happen. I've said that numerous times over the last 6 years or 5.5 years, whatever. And I think this was just one more thing. So, you know, call a DC for a DCI agent and, hey, bring a shovel. And then, you know, at some point, I don't know exactly when, it's probably detailed somewhere. They got the crime lab over there. And actually, I know it's documented somewhere about the crime lab being moved. I don't know that it's specifically that they say Kuss Rd is probably more like, hey, can you send the crime lab over here? So Kuss Rd is by word not mentioned, you know, at all. So anyway,
Super Mario's asking, is it on record what time the wooden pallet and Pete was dug up? And then Andy B is saying they found the car planted on the yard, but they had no body yet. Kuss Rd happened. Everything fell into place. It has to be really significant. Yeah, Kuss Rd does have to be significant, in my opinion.
For Super Mario's question, I don't know that we have an exact time that they found this disturbed soil on Kuss Rd, but it was before 11 a.m. on the 7th, because there is a report that we saw there from, I think it's Tyson, that they were at Yonda's gathering guns or whatever the hell they were doing there, and they got called away. So it was sometime before 11 o'clock that morning with these searchers that were going through in groups. And if I'm remembering, yours, correct me, were there 4 groups? Is that right? A, B, C, and D?
Yeah, 4 groups.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, and then Andy's comment, yeah, nobody, yeah, you think about the phone call with, Dennis Jacobs, is there a body yet? Is Stephen Avery arrested yet? That's what brings that to mind. But I think now that, we played a couple of dispatch calls, I think that let's start looking at some photos, because there are a lot of photos. And some of these, there's going to be nothing. We're just going to skip through them. But other ones I think are going to probably generate some conversation. So let me get those turned on, and we can start going through some of the photos. Now, with this photo array that I made, I put it on Google Photos, but I added in, but these didn't all come from one album. They're from various sources. But I didn't want to divide up and make it complicated. So I just put, and I probably will be adding a few more to this for part 2. But this has got the bulk of the photos. Where's OBS at? There you are. So let's check out some photos, and we're certainly not going to look at all of them, but let's look at some of them before we get too far into the. Get over here to it. Is that going to turn on? Oh, if I get on the right thing, it'll turn on. There we go. That'll pop in. So we're starting out here with Trooper McConnell. And of course, they took a lot of photos from the plane. And we'll just go through and overview of the whole area, half the Abbey salvage yard, in that whole region there, that whole area. And there are a lot of these, of course. We'll get over here. Now we can begin to see Kuss Rd, and there's already some activity here with this photo. Now, I pointed out last night, and there was a report from Trooper McConnell when he made his report, his audit log, I guess you'd call it. I didn't realize, and he made a note there, that the date and the time on the photos is incorrect. And as we can see, these photos say that they were taken on November 8th. That's wrong. At 6:55 a.m. That's incorrect. It's wrong. We know it was November 7th. So virtually all these photos that Trooper McConnell were taken, the camera setting was incorrect.
You can tell by the long shadows on the left of the field. See that?
Yep, all the way through there. I see that.
You can see where the sun comes from, and then you see that that's all late afternoon pictures.
There you go. I zoomed in on that area right there. You can definitely tell it's late afternoon.
That's trees, long shadows of trees.
That's right.
And you can still discuss whether it's the 7th or the 8th or the 9th or the 10th or whatever, but there's enough evidence to, say this is the 7th.
Yeah, you can see at the top of this photo here, all the long shadows. So,
yeah.
And of course, there's already quite a bit of activity here whatever time this was taken. And we can already see that crime scene tape has been put up. It goes all the way down to where the disturbed soil is and comes down back down to the bottom of the picture here, and then over to the right. And then it also extends down there, that trail up there, or that little dirt road off to the right. There's crime scene tape all the way down through there. We'll see it. And to me, that's extraordinary that, for what they say they found, for this amount of crime scene tape to be placed up and the road blocked off, and the number of people there. We'll
Does anybody know when the search warrant was issued for Radant? The date off the top of their head? I don't.
No, I think it's in the search warrant files.
Okay.
But I don't recall. I really don't.
I don't either. I was thinking it was the 5th, but I don't want to say that.
And, of course, we know that the deer camp, this cul-de-sac area here, the deer camp is all, I believe I'm right, that's off to the right. Does that sound right, yours? Am I not oriented correctly?
Yeah, it's that dirt road indeed to the right. There.
Yeah. And there's more photos that we'll get to that detail that a little bit better, at least down that dirt road a little ways. Of course, from this
it's in front of the blue car, right? The road to the deer camp.
Yeah, I just zoomed in. I just zoomed in on where the road goes off to the deer camp.
Yeah,
and it's not far from there. There's also another call. I don't know that I included it in this batch that we've got today. There's an audio call about, I can't remember. I don't know who was talking to who, but whoever's in control, or I guess the supervisor that's over the search parties, he's like, you guys got to wait. I want these groups together. They should be coming out together. I thought it was kind of an odd kind of conversation. When you're searching, you get done when you're done, It was like, no, you guys got to be together, or that's the way it came across. Anyway, here's the one that's a little bit.
Yeah, that and was it Loof that was refused entry?
It was one of the two. I don't know if it was a cadaver dog or the scent dog. I can't recall. But I am going to in part 2 or part 3, where we are going to look at the dog reports and hopefully get. I don't know if I can get the animation or not, but at least we can get some screen caps of their tracking and so forth. I don't know. Maybe I'll send Miguel a DM and see if he'd be willing to join us and come on talk intelligently about the dogs. He knows about them, so maybe he'd be willing to do that. I don't know.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So as you can see, it's a little bit more faint, but you can see the crime scene tape goes up to the dirt road there, off to the Radant, to the deer camp, and it extends down the road again, where this area, while that's blocked off from the little area over there, directly kind of to the right of this ambulance or white vehicle, whatever you want to call it there, this white top vehicle. It looks like an ambulance. I don't know. It just doesn't add up for me. Some repeats. I wish that some of these were clearer. I know they were in a plane, but it's like they didn't have their speed setting exactly right, and there's a little bit of blur in some of these. I wish it was a little bit clearer. Yours sent me an interesting screenshot from earlier, and I will share it. And it shows, and it's not this photo. It's probably later. The number of people. It's got their names, and I think I counted them. I think there's like 17 people just in this area here at the end of the cul-de-sac. That's what that you sent me, wasn't it? Yours? Isn't that what you were talking about? The number of people standing around there.
Yeah, they are gathering for a field search in the cornfield later.
Yeah.
So that's why it became a little bit busier in there. Yeah.
And you can see from this photo here, there's even more people. I mean, just from here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know if that's a person or not. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Looks like there's about 19 people here in this photograph. And we get a little bit better view leading back to and you can barely see it up at the top of that photo, the blue tarp up there. There's better photographs though coming.
Itna says, can anyone identify the vehicle at the rear? Kind of looks like a hearse. Can we see that?
Let me go back here. He's talking about back here at the bottom right of this photograph. I don't know if that's just like a state vehicle, maybe a SUV type, Chevy, big Chevy Tahoe or Cheyenne or a Suburban, something of that type. I don't think it's a hearse.
Dark Side saying Fassbender in the red coat, and that's true. You should see him like moving upwards, right in the middle. Yeah, that's him.
And back over to the Avery salvage yard for a moment, doing their fly around. I really would like to get the DCI footage, but I doubt that we'll ever be able to get it, and their photographs. They'll never release it. Some more overheads. Okay, back to Kuss Rd. And this guy here looks like he just pulled in there, whatever. But, you think about the lack of reporting and then this number of photographs that the state troopers took. Without these photos, I dare say that our discussions about Kuss Rd would be almost nothing. I mean, that's the way I see it. I don't know about you guys, but anyway, there's the blue tar.
Not only that, Jax. I mean, a lot of the guilters say, "Oh, Stephen could have planted it anyway in any direction." Well, so could law enforcement. I mean, if you look at the full view of the photos, the Kuss Rd to Avery's, just exactly like that one, Jax, like that one.
Yeah,
you can see the dirt roads and the dirt paths and everything like that. That is easy. Yeah, it's easy for Stephen to do it, but it's also even a lot easier for the friggin' fucking police to do it. You know what I mean? Because Radant has said that he's came up the bottom of the screen, the road at the bottom of the screen, right beside Stephen's trailer. He said that, and he's admitted that before, that was how he got to Stephen's trailer. But if Kuss Rd gone down the Radant, down that wee side dirt road at the right, and everything like that, could have easily have been the law enforcement doing that as well. You know what I mean? So to me, it's easy to get especially something like a RAV4, like a Jeep. You know what I mean? Going up one of the dirt roads, it'd be easy today, in my opinion. And because it was over the far side of where Stephen's trailer was that the motor was found, the police could have easily have planted that motor on that berm without any of the Averys knowing about it.
I'd actually forgot about that little dirt whatever at the bottom there, back of Stephen's, right there beside Stephen's trailer. I remember it now that I have pulled it up and looked at it.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was Radant when he was talking to Zelna when she was interviewing him. He said that he came up one of these dirt roads, and I think it's the one that's right at the bottom of the screen, and he says that he's went right up that road to get to Stephen's trailer, that he didn't have to go through the salvage yard or up the conveyor road or anything like that to get to Stephen's trailer.
Interesting.
It would be easier for him, I think, coming out of his bit and gone up that dirt road to get to Stephen's trailer rather than coming through the whole salvage yard.
Oh, definitely easier, no doubt. It'd definitely been a quicker trip for him, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry.
And they stay there and they know that, you know what I mean? So, of course, law enforcement could have easily have put that motor on the opposite side of that salvage yard, and Stephen or Chuck or Errol or any of them would have known nothing about it. Look at the size of the frigging yard from where Stephen's trailer is to where the motor was found. You know what I mean? It could have easily have been planted there by law enforcement without any of the Averys knowing about it.
Yeah, there's definitely a way in right there, no doubt about it. And then make their way through up through the cars there and down to the it'll be the upper left. We can't see it from here, but upper left corner of this view of the salvage yard. So, yours, did you have something?
Yeah, I tried to want to take it back to the Kuss Rd pictures that we had, and zooming into it, I noticed there's a couple of pictures with a blue tarp with something black on it,
Yes.
and the
We're going
blue
to get
tarp
to.
aside of a white, well, the story that we all heard, like, you know, the white peat moss back and stuff. So that kind of caught my eye.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite to those yet, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've put them in to that map that I tried to make. Maybe
That's
that
amazing map.
No, it's another map. I've been
It's-
fiddling around with other maps as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
So maybe
that second map that you sent me, that interactive?
yeah, the Kuss Rd map. You might want to. Well, there you can see the difference between different kinds of tarps.
If I can pull that up here in a minute, I will. I'll get that loaded up. I want to find, because I know I looked at, this is pretty much the same as some of the other ones. You can't really see the blue tarp from here, but there are more coming that are down in here.
Yeah.
Because I took one earlier. I got it saved in this batch of photographs. I blew it up, that blue tarp area.
Yeah, we'll go to this one and we'll see it.
Here's one, and that's going to come in there.
That's you see that there's something black on the blue tarp. I didn't know what that was.
Yes.
Could be anything. If you zoom into that.
Yeah, as far as it's letting me zoom in, but I see it there. It's to the right side of that blue tarp. I don't know what that is.
It's on the blue tarp, right?
It is. That's right. It is on it.
That's what it looks like to me. So.
And there's another one or two that it's even more prevalent. Is it this one? Darn it! I mean to do that.
I think it was the previous one.
You can see it there. There's something on. It's showing at the top of the blue tarp in that one.
That's still the black stuff that's on the blue tarp, I think.
Yeah. Let me move forward a little bit more. Nothing there. More cars. Yeah, it would be. You know, I don't know what the DCI took photos of, but it would be interesting to see if they have anything from Kuss Rd to compare to what we have here, because they did go up on the 6th. I'm just curious if they took anything. Okay, nothing.
Yeah, they probably took these heat shot pictures from the.
Yeah, they did. They did. They took infrared to try to pick up any kind of heat source, but they said they didn't. Still be nice to have the photos.
Well,
and a lot of these, yeah. Wait a minute, let me go back to this one. Is there anything here? No, I don't think we can. It's at the bottom of this one here, and you can't really. It's just not. It's too covered. You can't see it. Here we go. Here's one I thought was weird. You can see it there. There's something there. I don't know what it is. It's got something white right dead in the center of it, and there's something black there. I don't know what that is either. On that blue tarp.
That looks to be next to the blue tarp. You know.
Yes.
The other stuff with black stuff on the blue tarp, and this is white. This looks like it's a peat moss bag surrounded with black earth, whatever. To me.
Or they've dug up. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like from. Well, that's just assumption as well, but
maybe that one's blurry. That's bad. I think there's. This one's probably too high, and you can't really see it. There's not enough there. It's almost like here they're reaching sunset time. That's too high up. He really got high up on this. He's looks like over at least 1,000 feet. Now they're getting to the dark time. You can't see anything. Let's see. Just a bunch more aerials that we don't really need. And this one's blurry again. Blurrier than I would typically like to see. This kind of, take an aerial shot and it blurred out. It's like he just didn't have that speed setting exactly correct. Another one, he's lower here, but it's blurred out. You can see it from here. Here's a pretty good shot. It's blurry, but you can still see the blue tarp back in here. And at this point in time, they probably have been there for at least a few hours. I would say several actually, because if they got the call before 11 that morning, and this is later afternoon, in my opinion, whether it be the 7th or the 8th, I think it was the 7th, but yours could be corrected, could be the 8th, but I think it was the 7th because they had a bonanza day.
And the whole course of these pictures isn't that long because they keep snapping shots like for an hour or not that long.
Here's another shot of that Yora's. It's hard to make out because it's dim, but again, you can see it there.
Yeah, there's black soil around it. That's what it looks like. Something white and black soil around it.
Yeah, but which is also, just for that, why would they call the Wisconsin Crime Lab mobile unit over there if it's just an old tarp and an old pallet? I mean, I don't understand that thinking. If there wasn't something more. Now we're getting into the dim time. This has got to be, sun's really going down now. See how dim it is. You can't hardly see anything in detail at all.
Yeah, this is after sundown.
Yeah.
So this is 4:35 plus.
Yeah, and then we're going to get into, where they put it.
This is probably after 5:12.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, up here in the wintertime or late fall, it gets dark pretty early.
Yeah, 5:12 is like dusk.
You can
gone. Yeah, here you can see the people walking through the field. If you zoom into that, in the middle of the field.
I see them there. Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah, you can see them. Yeah, it's a bit vague, but there's the line of people walking there.
Yeah,
and there's actually a picture with an incident log that says 4:35 p.m. on this one.
Yeah, and I can pull up the time or the detail here, but it's incorrect. I know it's incorrect because he said it was. He's saying it's 7:42 a.m. on the 8th, and there's just no way. I remember looking at that before.
I was going by the 42 is right, and then the Stefan is wrong, kind of thing.
Yeah, completely wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you can see in the prior photos, the vehicles had their lights on. And this one here, I'm taking it that they had some lighting here. I can't really tell what's going on with this one. It's so dim.
Yeah, it's the crime scene tape you see in the same. Yeah, it's too dim.
Now, some of these are not in exact order. I don't know why they. I guess because of the way they were named. I didn't go through and rename these photographs, so we're still in some really dim time here. And there's a little bit bright, but we're back into a little bit brighter pictures. So these were, for whatever reason, I don't know why they're not named. I didn't change the naming of the photos.
But you can see a lot of people are gathering there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to get to that. Yeah, we're going to get into that photo that you sent me here in a minute, and we're also going to get into. It's really dark in that one. We're going to get into.
Sorry, Jack. Kelly has a question.
Yep.
So, who thinks she was burnt there versus was dumped there after being burnt elsewhere?
Maybe. I don't think she was burnt here. I think, if I'm honest, I think probably the quarry, but that's just the way I lean because of everything they found. I don't, it's hard to say if there was a temporary burial out there. I mean, it's whoever, if that happened, it's really risky for someone, right? I mean, to me it is. because I mean it's not heavily populated, but it's not really like driving out, 5 miles out in the middle of the boondocks and nobody around at all. So, and they're right at the end of that. There's houses around there. There's a house directly across the road that we saw earlier. There's a house right in this photo here. You can see there's a house right back from that cul-de-sac. So, and there's no way that people would know people coming and going down that the deer camp road. So, I don't know. To me, it would be risky, but I'm not saying it's not doable because it certainly it could be. People do that kind of stuff, Crazy people, psychopaths. Yeah, we're not going to get any detail out of that one either. And we're getting toward the end of this run of photographs. I didn't put these labels on here. There's going to be some more too with some labels, and this kind of gives a little bit better layout for those that don't know. It gives the STH 147, the Highway 47, Avery's residence, the deer camp. So gives a little bit better layout. Did you make this yours?
No,
Yours.
no, I didn't. No, this I think it was an evidence.
Was okay. That's all right. Okay.
Yeah, this is the one. Well, like you say, this gives a good overview of all of it, or mostly all of it, not all of it, because the nefarious in there.
Yeah, I mean you can see down here at the.
Yeah,
I mean, you can zoom in there, and like I said earlier, down here at the bottom is the Kuss Rd cul-de-sac, and then that road goes right up to the hunting camp. It's right there, and then you can see the distance between the road, that little road there, and straight across the field to the back of Avery's trailer. And there's a photo. It's coming up here that I'm not sure. I'm not sure who took it. I don't know if it was Reese or Judge, or I don't know. We'll see it here in a minute. Okay, we're going to get into some of the ground photos. This next batch comes from like roll 13 and roll 14 that Reese and Drum took. I just put them all, like I said, I put them all together. I just didn't see any need in making a bunch of different folders for this. This is ground photos looking out at Kuss Rd. And let's see what it gives for a date here. These may be correct. Nope, these are incorrect as well. Oh, wait. It doesn't say. It's just got... Interesting. I don't know why it doesn't have the metadata, but I just copied it straight over. Anyway, this is the road to the...
These don't have the metadata. So.
Yeah, I just remember, pretty sure that these rolls are dated.
These are done by ODOC, and they were given to him dated, but given to him like a timestamp more or less. But
right, I meant the folder was dated. Is what I meant to say, not the photos.
Exactly.
Yeah,
not timestamps, but dated.
And are these taken by the State Patrol?
Yes, these are taken by Reese and Judge.
So we have their list that accompanied that, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's the only date we really have from it, is what they're saying. And that's how she sent them to me too. Was like scanned in where the metadata was gone, and I tried to upload it to an exfil site.
Yeah.
To get the original metadata, and that didn't work. But
no,
didn't work for me.
No, there's ways for them. There's ways to strip metadata out of a photo and video and all that stuff. So it's really bad. It's that way, but it's not. Once something is taken, it is like hard locked or whatever you want to call it, hard coded into a photo.
If you take a scan of a picture, then it's already gone.
It's gone.
Then then it's the metadata of the scan you take, not the original picture.
This right here is a really good representation to me also of a ground photo. I'm taking this is the Deer Camp Road, looking back towards, where that blue tarp would be in this disturbed soil. But it shows how much crime scene tape they actually used. And another photo, again. And there you go. This is a really excellent photo. They took that crime scene tape way down the road there. That wasn't no small, I don't see any tied together, so they probably used a full roll. That stuff's not exactly thin. I know it's not super thick, but it's not thin either because, it'll break.
No wonder they were asking for more.
Absolutely. And another ground photo. And this is a photo looking back, I think, orientation-wise, where they're standing here is, he's looking back from the Deer Camp Road back across the road to that house that I just mentioned. There's a house right across the road here. So, to what Kelly's saying, there's a risk. Hell, you just don't know who could have seen what. And, it's not to say that somebody couldn't have pulled into the Deer Camp Road here and kind of, gotten their car away from that area and then went and done something. They could have. It's possible. But there's a risk of being seen there. It's not totally isolated. Another good photo of the road, Deer Camp Road. I have no idea what that is. Some of these are just like photos of whatever. Here we are. We're going to get into, I think that's pretty much the end of the photos. We're going to get into some of what the searchers had written down, which I think is of interest. But, before I go too far with that, I'm going to stop right here and see if there's any questions. I've been prattling on here with photos for a while now. So let's talk about if there's any questions, comments, because there's a lot to take in there. I know a lot of them are repeats. They're just, they're overhead views and that kind of thing. So I've been doing that, and I really haven't been looking at any comments. Do we have anything that needs to be brought out? Any photos that anyone saw? Comments.
There's a comment I've just noticed that Rhonda had popped in the open mic text from Kenneth Christians. Why did Bobby Dassey say he didn't know Kuss Rd in the 2017 interview? Because it was, for what I've picked up in the chat, Jack, as well, though, is that it was also known by another name, White Cedar Road. It could be that he knew it as that name and not Kuss Rd. How did Kuss Rd come about in the first place, as well? If it was known as something else.
Well, roads do get renamed. Sometimes roads that, I've seen it before in my lifetime. A road will run like to an intersection, and then across that intersection, the road name changes, and then for convenience sake, for mail carriers, whatever deliveries, they just rename the road the same all the way down. I saw that happen. I've seen it happen numerous times. I don't know. I just don't know the history of Kuss Rd and how that happened. That would take a local to really help us there.
Yeah.
Well, on average, the Kuss Rd is from east to west, and the White Cedar is from north to south or south to north, whatever you want to call it. That's the difference.
Oh, okay. That's probably maybe that's why. To answer his question, I don't know why he would say that. He's lived there for a long time, and to me, it would be really pretty much impossible for him, at least not to herd the net, because he lives right there. He's very nearby. I don't know why he would have answered in that way. It's not really plausible for me. Dr. Silkman says, why are there so many photos of Kuss Rd? I don't know, Doc.
Yeah, exactly. For nothing to have happened there. The amount of body power, the amount of effort, the amount of photos, the amount of crime scene tape is just too much to explain for that not to be a significant area.
add to
whether
that.
it's to do with Stephen or not.
Why?
You know
That's
what I mean?
of the burn pit, of Stephen's burn pit.
Well, add to that, Alice. Just add to your list there the number of hours that they spent for an old pallet and two old peat moss bags.
Yeah, a peat moss bag and a plank of wood. You know what I mean? It is stupid, it's nonsensical, and there is no explanation for it, and there is no way that they could give a reasonable explanation for all that, for all that body power. There was more body power and equipment and everything like that than I have ever seen on Stephen's property, where the so-called murder and burning and mutilation actually happened. And I mean, I don't think I'm the only one that thinks that as well.
Well, I mean, even when they were destroying his burn pit, there was a few around, but nothing like the presence that was like Kuss Rd. Nothing like. So.
Exactly. And why? You know what I mean? For there to be nothing there. It just doesn't make sense. Something happened there that was important enough for them to get all that equipment, including floodlights and everything like that, and all that manpower down there for nothing. I don't think so. And I don't think it's something that we're ever going to find out, because as we've seen previously, they're no handy at making reports or anything like that to cover their own asses.
Yeah, I don't know the number of photographs. I'd have to go with. I probably knew at one time and have forgotten, but maybe yours knows how many photographs were taken at Kuss Rd that we don't have. I know there were dozens. I don't want to say hundreds, but it very well could be. Can you recall?
There have been a lot of them have been denied because a crime lab, John Earl, took photos on the crime scene itself. The close-up ones. So those we don't get for a reason somehow. I don't know.
Plus the ones that Colburn took, we can't get either.
Yeah, Doc's asking, are there any photos of the peat moss bag?
I don't think so. Unless Andy took them. Colby.
Doesn't mean there's anything nefarious going on, but okay, I'll buy it.
I'm not sure who else took photos, but it seemed to me like, without pulling up that discovery list email, I swear there was another one that took a series of photographs over there. What was that guy's name? Zwang? I'm saying that wrong. I probably butchered his name.
Yeah, Andy B saying, Kelly said she had heard that Kuss Rd was named something different back then, but I don't think it was. AC said in the trial that he was called to an incident on White Cedar, confusing things. Yeah, it could be a case of he was saying White Cedar to deflect from Kuss Rd.
Maybe. The lie of omission is, and I say lie, I use that in maybe the wrong context, but it is an omission from the fact that it really was Kuss Rd, but maybe, in his mind it was a better way to just say it, or they just decided to call it White Cedar. Maybe I'll do a little search for that as well. That's another thing. And I'm going to do another search. I don't know if I'll do it tonight, but certainly before the next, before we do part 2, I'm going to do another search in newspapers.com. I've already done one. I can't find really anything. Nothing. And for that many officers, again, when you tie in not only the 7th, and then we move into the 8th, and I'm probably going to tie, as much as I want to stay away from it, I really can't. I'm probably going to tie some of the Corey stuff into this, because Sipple was, he made his infamous call on the 9th from the Corey. I think they were well aware of the issues there. I'm gonna play some of those because to me it's inclusive, and maybe I'm thinking of it wrong, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be misleading, because the Corey is not Kuss Rd. I get that. At the same time, it's all right there. Come on. I don't know if you guys see it that way, or am I looking at it totally incorrectly?
there a fence separating Manitowoc County's 80 acres from Radant's property?
I can't answer that.
You know,
There's
because
I'm going to guess there's some kind of berm or dividing line that used to so they stay off each other's property. But as far as
it looks like you could travel by ATV throughout all those quarries and go from from the Manitowoc County government property to Radant's property back and forth with ease.
Yeah, Christina, that's what it looks like to me. Even all that area, it doesn't look like there's any fencing or anything like that
No.
to mark the boundaries. I mean, there's maybe a marker like a stump, a pole or a stump or whatever to say, right, that's the border. But in every photo that I've seen and came across, and we're speaking to everybody, nobody has mentioned any fencing or anything like that splitting off any of their properties. So it would have been easy to go from one property to the other, in my opinion.
So let's just, just a theory. Let's say they find a deceased body. They take it to the Manitowoc County quarry. They burn it because they control that property, right? They have the keys. They have the access. We know they have the roadblocks in place. No one's getting through there. They burn it. Then there's that restage note that I forget what researcher.
It's coming. It's coming. I'm fixing to show it here in a minute.
Okay. And that Kuss Rd was where they transferred what needed to get to Stevens from the county quarry to there. I mean, I don't know. I can't decide what kind of body they found. Did they find a deceased dead body, or did they create a dead body scenario with the cremains? And because the Sika keynote, I mean, where did that come from?
Yeah,
that's so convoluted.
I don't know.
Could be a lunatic as well.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely a lunatic.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, yeah, not everything is nefarious that we see. I mean,
no, it's not.
No, you don't know if you don't know if it came from a crazy person. You don't know if Ken Kratz had someone write it to make up a scenario so that if they didn't come up with a body, they could still try and convict Stephen Avery. You don't know if they wrote it because it was going to be a no-body crime. Or you don't know if somebody wrote it because they watched them burn her alive in the friggin' smelter.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
What would be the logical scenario to go from Kuss Rd to the quarry to Stephen's burn pit? How would that work?
That little road. Like, how would it work? You would take it through the quarry to Kuss Rd, and then you just drive it that little road that Jack's pointed out.
Yeah,
all you gotta do is get it on the property, then you walk it in your pockets. Think it's little. All we have is the key and the license plates. That's it. That's the only and the bullet fragment, but that didn't come till months later. That is the only evidence in this case that we can prove actually made it onto Stephen's property. And even the license plates didn't make it onto his property. They only made it into the salvage yard. And think about where the RAV was found. The RAV was found not coming from Kuss, but coming from Manitowoc County 80 acres side, right? It came from the Manitowoc County quarry.
It was on the other end of the property.
It's on the side by that's owned by Manitowoc County.
We don't know where it came from.
No,
but if you're thinking of it, do you think Stephen put it there?
No.
Okay, so someone put it there, right? What is the easiest way to get it onto the property to get the search warrant? You drive it from Kuss Rd.
No. Drive it across. I would say drive to Chuck's and to the crusher area and put it there.
So you're still envisioning it coming up Avery Road.
Yeah.
See, I don't. I don't at all. I think that's just way too obvious. I think that whoever brought it there brought it through the. It's likely what Siebert is. It Siebert that said that. I think that's probably what happened. The plan changed to put her on the property, use the RAB to get the search warrant. So the only access they had to anything at that time is the property they control. They control the Manitowoc County Quarry because they own it.
I have a question for you, yours. Doc is asking a question I can't answer. We don't have H1 and H2, right? We've been trying to get those and still don't have them.
I don't know, but top of my head, no.
I don't think we do, Doc. I think that's part of what.
Not.
I think that's part of what Henbury's got in his mandamus appeal.
Yeah, I think so.
And I know other people have tried to get H1 and H2 through open records, and they've been always been denied.
People have been.
Yeah. I was just trying to look through to see if we had any more comments before we get too far off the path there. We're approaching.
Well, I would have mentioned that earlier, except I thought he was kidding because we've made so many jokes about it.
He may be. Knowing Doc probably is. He's probably laughing right now. Maybe a tornado went through Avery's salvage yard and picked up the remains in the burn pit and deposited some in the Yonda burn barrel and in the Manitowoc County gravel pit. Time to call KZ, no doubt, Doc. Well, the whole thing is that it's like so many other areas of this case. There's something. It doesn't come across right for me. I have real issues with how the entire thing was handled, how it was not reported. It was completely underreported. The amount of resources and people, and that is in itself a problem for me. I'm not a cop. I'm just an old guy that has noticed things, pretty much my entire life. And when you have a pretty significant incident that doesn't get reported, there's nothing there. There's something weird going on, because there should be some kind of paper trail to indicate what happened. If you've got a straight shooting set of police officers that are doing their job, in my opinion, that to me, that's part of a cop's job. That's a big part of their job, is reporting what they do on their shift. And I didn't. This gets off into a little bit of a different situation. We'll talk about it more, I'm sure, next week. But you think about Sipple and his call. We talked about this the other day in the Uncle Ken. Sipple makes this call reporting he's found all these bones in the quarry. He needs help. What does he do? He doesn't write a report about that. Oh, no.
Not at all.
No, he wrote a report the following day to say that, him and whoever was looking for evidence that tied to Avery, however he worded it there. It was basically saying that Avery took all this stuff off the Avery property to the quarry and planted it there, dumped it there, or whatever, not planted it, but dumped it there, which is a crock of shit.
And he lied in his report as well. He used an event from trespassers that were reported on the 7th. He took that to the 9th and reported that. That's right. He did. Pinnell and Q, they were trespassing on the somewhere on the Avery property. That's crazy. If you don't have anything to say about your day, don't lie about it.
Don't say anything.
No,
for real, man. Okay, we're right at 2 hours. Let's go ahead and get through some of these searcher notes, which are, I think, kind of interesting. They do bring up a couple of interesting things that I think that need to be discussed again as a reminder to all of us, and for the new people that maybe have never seen this stuff. This, by the way, these came from the original photos that Henbury got. Now, this is a copy that Seeking got as well, but it's the same photos, and there's like 2,000 and 55 or something of that nature. But this particular note here, as you can see, it's got several things written down. Camera, cell phone, purse. Oh, damn it, going the wrong way. Clothing. I don't know what. Unearthed. Rocks, ground. I don't know what that means. I can't read something. Anybody read that next one? Dirt, disturbing. License number plate, SW number 582. Hey, where's Jamie at? Jamie! Tracks, vehicle, 5 to 10 foot. Something. I can't read that word either. As far as I can zoom in. There you go. There you go. And then there's some more writing down there. 1206. Something found.
Tyler's found remains of cell phone
under a
rim of a tire.
Yeah.
The tire rim burned in a barrel.
Yeah. So there's that one. And then this next one, I believe, is the one that Christina was talking about. Cell phone, purse, clothing, dirt rolled up and disturbed. License plate SWH582, camera. Then, can't really, let's see, there we go. Blue jeans with button.
White button down shirt.
Yeah, white button down shirt, yep. Go ahead, George, read it.
Stay away, silt pond. Restage Kuss Rd. Watch for traps. And then there's 2 phone numbers of 2 members of the search party.
You know, number one, and I don't think we ever figured out why this was written, stay away from the silt pond. A safety thing, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. The same as for watch for traps. So they had some sort of briefing. Because I was looking at these, like you just put these pictures together, and I was wondering if this is things we found list or things we should be looking for list. And they have kind of the similar order, so I had them down as the things to look for list.
But restage Kuss Rd, that's an oddball.
That's an oddball, yeah.
I don't understand why that, if they were having a briefing to write down what to look for, why that would be included. It's an odd one. For sure.
Definitely. I have no answer to that one.
And to answer your question, I'm not sure who read this particular one, Christina, and found it, but it was an interesting find for sure. And then
the only there was one guilter who came up with a scenario. If you take away all the other bullshit we have in this case that made this maybe not nefarious, and that was that they were restaging searchers to send them out on another search. But I don't buy that.
Restage at Kuss Rd?
Yeah, that was an explanation that I read. But if you take it when it's written, and the fact that they wouldn't let the canines in there, and you know what I mean? It just
but
work.
If you remove all that though, and you just look at it from a non-nefarious thing, that could be possible. They could just be saying, "Hey, we're gonna, when you get through here, we're gonna everybody meet at Kuss Rd and restage." Mm-hmm. I can see that. That's believable. So anyway, this next one's got some coordinates. I've not tried to plug those in. I'm sure somebody has. I don't know if Rhonda is Rhonda still here? I know that she had plugged some in at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are not complete coordinates that I had. I plugged in all the ones that what's his fuckface did.
Tell us how you really feel.
Greasy back. Gone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, from that email.
Yeah. Those aren't the numbers.
Yeah.
44. 44, 14, 87.
Yeah,
I can
west.
try to.
That is
It's kind of.
close to
It's
Seabirds.
hard to. Let's see.
Close to Seabirds. So this first group came in at Jammo Creek Road at Seabirds kind of destination there, and then this came in, and this is what they found.
Gotcha. Tracks and field deer, carpeting off James Creek Road. I guess that's supposed to be.
These search groups, A, B, C, D, they in the afternoon they went searching into the quarry from the 7th.
Yep.
That's what they did. You see these, the picture you just showed up. All these have a backside as well. You see the people that go in there, and then between like 1:30 until 5 or something, they'll be searching the quarry.
Right.
The Jambo Creek entrance from Seabirds.
Yeah, I didn't feel I was going to get the full pages of names and stuff, but we don't really need that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. This was also says photo taken of track down by entrance, front end loader track pictures, mud flap old. I guess that's something I found, and then bare ground spot photo, and there's more coordinates there. So whoever this is they're with someone that has a way to track their coordinates, and they're detailing them. So this may be the last one of these I have. Nope, there's one more. I didn't think this may be the last one. Not photographed. And I remember looking at these coordinates as well, and I think I actually successfully plugged some of these into Google Earth. There's a number of them listed here. And again, all these, I linked these, I put them in a folder on Google Drive. I don't know that we'll necessarily, because they're on the website, so I'll just leave my link to my Google Drive for these. There's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these single page, there's photographs. And, this is not on Google Drive. These are in the photographs, but the PDFs are on Google Drive. I apologize for that. Anyway, there's a number of things that are listed here, and they've written down the coordinates. So probably nothing. I don't think there's anything significant there, though. A few more photos that, again, the naming, don't kill me. I don't know why the naming did it this way, but it did. I can go back and fix that later. You can see looks like the ambulance down there, and a number of them standing around, a few cars. This is apparently earlier this is a photo from Drama Reese. So I'm not exactly sure what time that they were there. And then this is another photo. I think everyone's probably seen this. Here's the ambulance, and this is before some of the other equipment arrived, the fire truck and that utility, the crime lab, and all that. More tape. And this might be getting into where I was talking about a minute ago. And of course, this is back in the same area. There's the guy that we've talked about before that's sitting up on the top, probably with that total control unit that measures things in a 3D space. So that's interesting. That was probably Trooper Austin, I'm guessing there. And then this is, I think, from the backside there at probably that Deer Camp Road down the field going towards Avery's. Over here, I think, is going to be the quarry to the right of this. I think we're going to come to that here in a moment.
No, that is from the cul-de-sac towards Stephen Avery's.
Yes, cul-de-sac towards Stephen Avery's. Yeah, I said that wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's another photo here or two that I included. And there's another photo showing way back in there with more tape. And then I think there's probably close to, between these two rolls, probably 50 photographs, I think, between 13 and 14 that I included here. That one will be back up. And this is another little bit further down the road going toward the deer camp. Okay, and then here we go. Now, this is another photograph, and I saw it, and if you look straight across this area here, you can see straight across there, that's the back of Avery's trailer. And to the left of that is where we looked at a minute ago, across those trees, down that little dirt, path or whatever you want to call it, little dirt road. I can't even call it a road. That leads to the left.
Distance. What is, so this is the little road that comes off the cul-de-sac, right? What is the distance from there to Stephen's trailer?
Quarter of a mile.
Yeah, it's about a quarter of a mile. We figured up.
Through the field, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we would have tire tracks if he drove that. Like if he just drove the straight line. Like the quickest point from A to B is a straight line kind of thing. And we don't do that.
If he went down this path over here, if you looked at the trees to the left there, if he went down that path over there, I don't know what we would have seen from. I don't know. It's pretty muddy. I mean, it's pretty wet there. You can see they've gotten quite a bit of rain by the time this was taken. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing this.
Nobody has any control over that, right?
No, none whatsoever. So
whoever was driving down that berm and was leaving tire tracks, there was a possibility they would be still on there.
And I'm taking.
You know what's weird is they didn't cast those tires.
They only cast one tire.
Yeah, they only cast a tire in the salvage yard pit, right?
Yeah.
And this photo here, if I'm
go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you're good.
This photo here, I'm taking it is this road going toward the deer camp. He's turned back around and facing the Kuss Rd cul-de-sac again. If you turn to his back, that's across towards Avery's. That's the way I'm oriented. Is that right? Yours?
You're still on the higher up end towards the deer camp.
Yeah.
So you cannot really go down there because it's a bit of a ramp.
Yeah, it's too high.
You can see through the woods. You can see a cul-de-sac there. Yeah, where you see the people there, that's cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Of Kuss Rd.
So I mean, it's a little bit deceiving, but you can definitely tell there's some elevation there.
Yeah.
And then here's another shot. Same thing. He's photographed back off that direction, but this is a bigger drop than what it appears. Another photo, and here's one more, and you can clearly define that out there. You see that?
More or less the same spot. Yeah, different direction.
Yeah. So, some very interesting. I mean, to me, it's interesting. And him taking those few photographs, it's almost like they're trying to put it together. Okay, Stephen Avery probably did it, and this is the way he traveled from here to here. They couldn't prove it, but they took the photos anyway. No report, of course, no report, but it's the implication, I guess. So, all right, we're. Let me get back over here.
How high? I don't know if anybody's watching because we're ahead a little bit. How high is that? Because you see, we're up. Like this viewpoint of this photo where we're looking over to the cul-de-sac here is up higher. How much higher? Like, what's the elevation? Does anybody know?
No, I mean, if you remember that photograph I had there, it's been several back where probably Austin was up on that berm where he's taking pictures from that we see where he's up there. Yeah. I'm going to guess it's, I don't know, 20 feet, 30 feet. It's hard to say. Probably 20 feet at least, I'm guessing elevation was. I don't know that we've ever, that's recorded anywhere. Yours, anything?
No. We didn't get shared those, GPS locations, elevations, or whatever, no. Or we haven't translated that from data.
Right.
That's possible as well.
I understand. Here's another shot of this dirt patch quarry area leading straight across the back of the Avery's salvage yard or Stevens trailer at least. And go ahead.
There's a question out in the chat I wanted to point out.
Please.
From Pete Moth, good name. Why would you look for tracks 5 to 10 feet apart?
That's a good question. That's pretty far, unless you're like a really big man and running.
Yeah, you might be sliding from left to right. Maybe that causes 5 to 10 feet apart somehow.
You'd have to be at a pretty good trot and really picking your feet up between each step, 5 to 10 feet apart.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. What would make 5 to 10 feet apart?
Maybe I'm just, the only thing I can guess is that maybe that means that the searchers should be no more than 5 to 10 feet apart when they're searching. So basically visual contact, so nothing gets missed. That makes sense?
Yeah. Might be the vehicle. Go ahead.
You're supposed to stand at fingertip length, right? Or fingertip to fingertip and walk in a straight line. I've participated in like searches before for one case here in Florida, and that's how they had us stagger. And the idea is when you're searching through debris, the length of your arms is that's where your eyes are focused, right? So you're supposed to take a step, scan from left to right, and then back from right to left, take another step, do the same thing. So somebody was trying to do the right thing there by saying that.
This is the photo in the list that Yora sent me earlier. And these are the people that participated in the east of Kuss Rd search. Is that right, Yora? Is that what this is?
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
It's hard to...
If you look at the picture, it's hard to see the line, but you see a line of people walking through the...
I see something. Yeah, I see right there. That's what I see.
Like a coordinated search,
Yep.
Going shoulder by shoulder and then going from east to west and then turn around and do from west to east. And then I think that's what they're doing.
Right. But this time right here, they're already approaching, twilight, because you can see the cars back there at the cul-de-sac have already got their headlights on.
Exactly. And just to point out, what was it? Kurt Kohler, who was in there, and another one. Kurt Moore, I think. These two guys were only there were never ever anywhere around the salvage yard but the 7th. So that kind of makes it, it proves to me this picture is also from the 7th as well. Right.
Let's see, we got some other familiar names in here. There's isn't that Sablich? Yep. Isn't Sablich from, isn't he from the crime lab?
No, Nick Sablich is from Queso as well.
Queso, yeah.
Big glasses.
Yeah. Yep, there's Wendy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rick Reimer. That guy's everywhere, but man, he's kind of off the little radar.
Yeah. Scott Schwartz, who found the stump.
I meant to grab the link, and I'll try to get it here in the next few days. This Reimer, on one of the phone calls, he called in, and he's looking for case numbers, and I meant to get those case numbers because they sounded, or incident numbers or something, I don't know. And there was also a different number that I meant to grab. I'm sure that other people have heard it, and I'm not getting anything new, but I just wanted to make double sure. I'm going to try to find that again and run that by you, yours.
Yeah.
So, and then these are the couple of, this one and the next one is the sign in, sign out you sent me earlier. Threw these in here as well. Good job, dude.
Yeah, well, people may know I've put all the crime scene logs into a spreadsheet, and this is a bit of a pivot table around 7 November, so you can actually see what's going on there.
Yep.
And it does follow, reports. Whether that's good or not, that's up to you. But
Well,
see that Colborn and Leck are checking out 11:06 from the salvage yard, so they have to, get in the car and drive around to go to Kuss Road,
right.
and coming back later, you see that. You see Fassbender and Pagel going out 11:47.
Yep.
Something going on with the Michigan Rescue. I don't know what that is. To be honest, that's a red flag to me. That's why it's red.
That one there might be the one where the ambulance, that one had to leave. I can't remember, but there was an ambulance that got called out. They were there just, in case it was needed. Yeah.
Exactly.
That may be that right there.
Yeah.
So, and yeah,
it's an interesting question as well to point out that what Pete Moss said. Siders found the cell phone in Stephen's barrel. That was about 12:06. Remember that picture you shared just a while ago at 12:06 p.m. That is kind of a weird timing to me.
It is weird.
Right before that is the suspicious incident,
Right.
So if the group was all focused on the suspicious incident, why was it like right about the same time there was something going on in Stephen's burn barrel?
That is odd. Well, I mean, so many of them got called away. I mean, I don't know.
Now, if you look at the map, that's quite a big, that's quite over a mile away. It's not far, but it's still like another location.
Absolutely. And then got another one here that it should pass on to me about Kratz. Is in and out. On the 7th here, we can see,
Yeah. Yeah, that one I wanted to, I just need to point out because when you look at the last column with hours on scene, you see that on the 5th and on the 6th, he is really there for like 5.27 times and then 6.55 hours. You see that? First dates?
Yep.
And then at the 7th, there's basically nothing. He's just in and out for a quick bit. And just for a side note, at 15:41, he's checking out with the dude that found the stump.
Nothing but a stump.
Found the stump. Yeah, just saying. And well, what this chart made to me is like, okay, at the 8th, that was the biggest finds of all, and he's not there at all. So what was his logical way of reasoning? When do I want to show up and when do I don't? So I'm not really sure about this. So at the 8th, you find the key, the license plate, bones, and everything like that, and he's not there.
Oh, it's a banner day for Calumet and for him.
Yeah, and the 9th as well, he's gone as well. And the 10th, he comes back. 10th, we all know, Claver came to the property. FBI was there. Major press conference he did. So that is logical that he was there. But before that, I don't know.
And of course, the 9th is the day that Avery was arrested. So.
Yep.
Interesting.
Also missing.
Also what?
Yeah. Also missing from Ken Kratz checking in onto Avery's salvage yard.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But the 9th is, that's more logical than the 8th. The 8th is just like, you find bones in a burn pit. You want to be there.
One would think, absolutely.
Yeah. What was important about the 6th of November to be there for almost 7 hours?
Yeah, I just don't get that.
More important than the 8th. I don't know.
I just don't get that, why he was there that long. I mean, getting back to the Reconstruction Unit, I mean, I know that throughout that him and Gon, especially, early on, Fallon got involved later, but early on, I know that they were given Austin instructions, but I can't believe, I was going to say he wouldn't have been talking to them that long. I just don't understand what he was doing there for that amount of time. I just don't get it.
No.
So, okay, so that wraps up pretty much all the photos. Yeah.
If it's okay, I just wanted to go back, and I don't even know if it even matters, but
Yep.
I went on a mission when you guys were talking about Kuss Road and White Cedar Road.
Yeah.
Because I knew that when we were there, I knew that Cherie and I had taken pictures of the street sign of Kuss Road, and then so anyway, I put a picture of my picture in the open mic text, and then I put a picture of from Google Earth Pro in as well. There are two separate roads.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
I see.
Just thought,
Yeah, I see it
thought
there.
there was some confusion about whether there was the same road or two separate roads, but
no,
anyway.
yours had said earlier that Kuss Road runs east to west, and
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
the other one runs north to south.
gotcha. All right.
That's
Well,
okay.
anyway.
No, thank you for doing that. No, I appreciate that.
That's
No, no problem.
we have Cherie and I have pictures that we took in July of Kuss Road and all those areas, but
Well,
at any rate,
if you're feeling sherry, I feel like, well, okay. What about for the next open mic? You guys sling a few photos towards me, and we'll put them up.
okay, what do I get? What do we get in return?
I'll buy you a beer. It would be a virtual beer, but
Awesome. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll get with Cherie and we'll get our pictures together so you guys can use them if there's anything usable next time.
Well,
because we are talking about how many years later. In fact, the Deer Camp Road is so overgrown now that it looks like half the size. So
I know it's a little bit outside of the realm of what we're doing. It's still Kuss Road, and it's still the deer camp and all that. So even if it's just a brief, diversion, it's still the same area. It would be interesting to look at it compared to the photos we have now.
Right, yeah.
Did you go to the Manitowoc County Quarry, like where that entrance is? I think
we couldn't find it. It was like so overgrown and built up with berm and stuff that we couldn't even. I'll show you the pictures that we did take. I'll get them together.
Because
but we couldn't see it.
Yeah, I'm wondering what their access looks like. It's off of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fisherville and Q. Is that how you enter the quarry?
No, because if you look at, I don't know where you're looking at right now, but if you look at like the picture that I have of the street signs in the text, in the open mic text,
okay,
those are, so Kuss Road and White Cedar Road are here, and then they meet. This is Q Road out there, the highway. That's where they meet at Q Road, and so yeah, I'll get with Cherie and we'll put our pictures together and put them in a file or something for you, Jack, and you can look through them and see if there's something that you can use.
Awesome.
Yeah. Q Fisherville is in the south, Christina.
But
Q
that's
Fisherville is in the south.
Right, but isn't that how you would access, like, if someone wanted to go into Manitowoc County Quarry,
that's the closest entrance. Yeah.
That's the public entrance, right?
Yeah, that's the closest junction where you can go onto Q and then into Manitowoc gravel pit.
The quarry, yeah.
But what access is considered the public entrance? Like, where would people go who didn't care if anybody knew they were going there? Like, would they come off of Q and Fisherville, or is there another entrance that I'm not seeing?
That is, well, completely, you can go from different directions. I mean, you go from Q south, from 147 onto Q and then south inwards. Or you can go from Fisherville to Q and north and then inwards. That doesn't really matter. So somewhere there's an entrance.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. There's several different ways you can get there.
I mean, I know some quarries have 2 entrances. I mean, I'm certainly not all of them, but I know that the one that I was ever around in my life actually had 2 entrances. One of them was basically for their company that owned the quarry. Come in and out, get gravel or concrete, whatever. But there was a separate entrance for the public. If you wanted to go in and get a truckload of gravel, that kind of thing. So I don't know if that's set up that way or not. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. This case is the case that keeps giving, right?
Constantly. Can't get away from it.
Lucky. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, everybody.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to, I cannot help myself but to talk about our admin, Yoris's extra effort that he put in to create an interactive map.
Isn't it cool?
If you haven't checked it out, please do so. I think that I just dropped a link for it.
Thank you.
The man went to town with this one. So since we're talking about all of this, I think you should check it out.
Yeah, and he's working on another one that's actually really cool too.
Thank you, Yuri, so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. And anyway, yeah, if it's on the Foul Play website, all you got to do is just go there. It's right there. It's right at the top. You can't miss it. It's a really interesting thing. And the interactive maps like that, if you're researching something, any tool that you can use, especially if you're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into a subject, those kinds of things, man, they can be so handy instead of having to go dig here, go dig here, go dig here. If you can get something that really kind of includes a number of reports or whatever, photographs, man, it just makes it so much easier. So, all right, we've been going here for about 2.5 hours. I still have several calls to play, but I'm not going to because we'll be here forever. We'll save those until the next time, and because I'm going to add to the list of the dispatch calls that I want to play, and also talk about. We got to talk about the dogs because they're part of this, and definitely, I'm sure it's going to include some aspects of the quarry. I know again that it's not fair to necessarily say we're going to talk about the quarry just because we're talking about Kuss Rd. It's a little unfair. At the same time, there was so much that went hand in hand with both. For me, it's really hard to break them completely apart. So I'm not going to try. I'm just going to put some of it in. Let the chips fall where they may. It's information. I think that would belong and be of use to anyone that wants to do their own research in this lull time that we have waiting for the next thing to happen with Kathleen and what she may be doing in the case. Somebody asked, they've asked me several times. Several different people have asked what I think she's doing, and to me, she's got 2 choices. She's either got to go to the 7th Circuit, keep pushing forward with her current 97406 motion, or she's going to have to drop it and write a new one, which means none of the other stuff that she's got can be included. And I don't think she'll do that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't think she can drop it. I think everything's been procedurally barred. So if she writes a new one.
Not everything's procedurally barred, but a lot of it they're saying is procedurally barred because of
stuff.
Well, yeah, of course,
What's left is Bobby, and
I just love to get the word inexplicable in front of some high-powered judge that's way up in the food chain, and see the eye roll, see the actually private eye roll that they would do.
I would love to tattoo inexplicable on Judge Suckowitz's forehead personally.
Back of her eyelids.
Yeah.
It's such it's almost dirty the way that whole thing and the way they tried to justify giving the biological material away. It's really criminal. I mean, to me, But it will be interesting to see which direction she goes and what she is going to do. Sandy Greenman says he's working on something secret. I don't know why she would say that. If it's secret, don't say anything. Just don't talk about it, right? It's secret.
Mhm.
So, any other questions from the chat? I see the chat's kind of been going along. Somebody got thrown out. I don't know. We attracted some bad stuff. Alice, thank you very much.
Yeah, the porn bots have been here for a while.
Oh boy.
Maybe somebody subconsciously invited them. You never know. Just kidding.
I know. You're so bad, Lady Daryl. You're terrible. I'm kidding.
You mean cat rats or what?
Maybe. Well, you never know about this kind of thing. You get into this kind of thing where we're resisting basically what the state has put in front of us, and we're going to continue to resist. I don't believe what they put forth. None of us here believe it, and we have our varying reasons, either from a speculatory standpoint, an opinion, or what we can prove from a paper trail or evidence. And Christine had asked a good question the other day. What do we do? Wrongful conviction. That's a whole genre, and I would love to say that we can go to this person or this person and they be our champion, because they won't. There are, a number of people I would love to see because they're wealthy and they have the money to effectively fight something, like this, to put behind it, both from a financial standpoint and from a media standpoint for attention. And that's what it needs. And we don't have it. And we need someone. At this point, there's some people I would say, I don't want them involved. But at this point, I don't care. Just attention to the case, and what happened. Same thing for Daniel's case. That case needs massive media attention, and to draw into it and flush out something. There's some bad stuff in the Avery case. God, there's some awful stuff in his case. Oh my God. Don't get me started. Anyway, so any questions that anybody's seen that we haven't answered from the chat? I don't mean to ignore anyone. Thank everyone for coming and sticking around and going back through Kuss Rd with us again on this little trip. We're taking a little deep dive over the next 2 or 3 open mics. We good?
Yeah, there was somebody over here asked, is there 1 or 2 Ravs? I'm kidding. No. All right. No. I'm totally kidding.
Rhonda, you need to talk to your West Coast homie out there just for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I represent. Yeah.
What do you want me to say to her? I'm going to back her up.
Well, I know that because you're West Coast homies, but get your public story straight. No, I'm kidding. That's an interesting question. And hey, you know what? Some people want to believe there's 2 Ravs. I'm okay with it. It don't affect me none. I believe, from what I've seen, there's 1. And that's all I can go on what I've seen. I know that there's a color variance, but as far as what we see from photos, but that can be deceiving.
Perfectly good explanation to it.
Absolutely. And, perception, and I look at vision just like I look at how we perceive touch and taste. And it's just one of the senses, it's all perception. We all don't we all don't taste things the same way. We all don't see things the same way. So I don't know any other way to look at it, man. I really don't.
No, not at all. No, I think we should look at this we should be very critical about what we see, but not think that every single thing is nefarious to begin with.
I agree with you, because it's not.
That would do your head in. You would get I think that is very bad for yourself. Because that's not, even in this case, that is not the reality.
Well, it's hard for us not to. We get jaded. I get it, but we have to. Yeah, we have to keep.
So. Yeah,
but we have to keep our wits about us. We have to be honest about what we're looking at, because if we don't, we just might as well say, he's innocent and just walk away. But we have to be honest about what we're talking about and recognize not everything in this is nefarious.
No,
personally,
It has to apply to some common sense. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Rhonda?
Well, I was just going to say, if we start looking at everything as something, pretty soon it's so big that we just can't. It just becomes too overwhelming, and you just can't. There's just no way that you could possibly, because eventually this is going to negate that, and then that's going to negate this thing over. You just have to open your mind, look at what you see, and analyze a little bit at a time. But if you can't make everything bad or nefarious or a clue, because otherwise it just becomes too big.
Well, and not only that, we have to recognize that people, these police officers that we don't really hear too much about. They're just regular people. They go to work. They're there to earn a check, and they're not there to do anything nefarious. They're there to do a job the best they can and go home. They're not in it for the political, all this other stuff at all.
Right.
Yeah. I only work with what I know for sure, right? So if it's unconfirmed or we don't have photographs, I don't think it happened.
It's okay to theorize and to speculate and even have an opinion. That's fine. But for me, and I know it's not like this for everyone.
I know. Yeah. I feel like this conversation is directed at me, and it probably isn't. And I know
it is not. It is not at all. No,
I know that my theory that the cops killed her is a hot problem for a lot of people. But
I was in no way pointing toward Christina.
No way.
I have yet to find a piece of evidence to tell me that the cops couldn't have killed her. I mean, if someone's got a piece of evidence to prove that theory wrong, please give it to me. I'll stop digging. I will on that theory. But right now, it's the most logical theory there is, that someone wanted that civil suit to go away, and they killed Teresa Halbach and framed Stephen Avery for it. That's what this case looks like.
I mean, to me, that could have happened. I can't go there because I need more. I'm not saying you're wrong, because you may not, but you may be dead on correct.
Yeah.
I just personally, I can't make that connection.
Yeah, that's why it's a theory.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with theorizing and speculating and having an opinion.
How things get learned, discovered.
Right, and we have to. Go ahead, Alice.
There's an awful lot of us, Jack. An awful fucking lot of us that are seeing the same things over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? We all can't be wrong. Because a lot of us see the same thing. We see the corruption. We see what they did to Stephen by planting evidence and everything like that. We see the coercion and everything that happens with Brendan. And it's not just this wee group in foul play, you know what I mean? It's people all over the world that have watched the documentary, that have dug into this case time and time and time again. We all can't be wrong by seeing the nefariousness of everything that's happening in this case. Yeah, I agree. Not everything in the case should look nefarious, but there is just far too much yet that does for us not to think that all of it is, because we can't, how can I put it? One person writes a report on something and another person things a report on something, and they say two completely different things, and then we research and we find something else. You know what I mean? So who can you believe? The people that are writing the reports and everything like that are making the mistakes and everything. So it's hard to believe that any isn't nefarious, if you see what I mean.
Well, I mean, that goes right back to what you're saying right there when we talked about it earlier. And yours knows this as well with Siffel. He didn't write anything about finding all these bones on the 9th. Nothing. And then he wrote a report on the 10th and he lied. So the report writer becomes the narrator of that event, right? So I get what you're saying, and I think that there are some that without again being a police officer, being in that world of what they talk about that's not in a report, the meetings between lieutenants and captains and the line officers that work for a department, and they say, hey, this guy is the one that did it in the story, and everything's going to have to reflect to that direction. It could just be that simple, and if so, everything flows from that direction, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I can present with Christina about the police actually killing her. I think it could be more along the lines of Ryan Hilligus has done something, because in my opinion, Ryan Hilligus is a fucking suspect. Period. Right?
Oh.
So I think that he has done something. Maybe they've had an argument, a fight, or something like that. It's got physical. He's pushed her, she's banged her head, and killed her by accident or something like that. And because there's such a tight-knit community, in a sense, with people looking out for other people, the way we've seen it, is that he could have phoned somebody and said, oh shit, something's happened, blah, blah, blah. And then it's, right, okay, give me a minute and I'll phone such and such, and that's how the balls kind of got rolling, in a sense. And I mean, that's just my opinion and the way I've been looking at things. I don't think they actually killed her, in a sense. I think they helped covered it up, and her body falling into their lap like that was the perfect thing that they needed to set Stephen up.
Well, I mean, to me, my biggest problem, or my problems with Ryan, is that he lied from beginning to end. He allegedly loved her. Why would he lie that many times?
Yeah, but you've also got the 21 dropped calls.
That too.
As well, when it comes to Ryan. You know what I mean? In the interview that he was talking on the TV channel, he was saying about the bad connectivity and everything like that. Well, how does he know about the bad connectivity if he's never been on the property before?
That's
because he said he'd never been on the property before. So how would he know that there's bad connectivity on that property if he's never been on it before?
Agreed. That's right. But, getting back to, what's that, yours? Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, whatever theory we have, we can all be right and we can all be wrong. It's only a matter of what can we prove and what can ultimately Kathleen Zellner prove.
That's right.
To be right,
That's right. That's exactly right.
So that's very, very important to keep in mind. So, we can go into any direction. I think we're focusing Kuss Rd right now, so I think we need to end it at Kuss Rd as well, somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
You just got a spot somewhere and Kuss Rd and end it there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, we have to keep this other stuff in front of us, but you got brought up about being jaded, and I get that,
theorizing is right. I mean, that's good. I mean, it always keeps the people inspired to research. That's what I want to say as well, because
absolutely,
I always look for people that have maybe some more out of the box ideas, and that make me go and dig into to think deeper.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
But
right.
In the end, it's proof. So that's what I want to say. Go ahead.
And you're right. No. And Beverly, did you have something before we wrap it up here?
Yes. Before we go, hey everybody, if you would like to participate in the open mic next week or next whenever we do open mics, all you have to do is join Discord. Come to Discord at a certain time and just go live like we all are. So I know that Sherilyn Pontillo wanted to do that, and I don't know why she didn't. But if anybody would like to do that, sure, it's fun.
Right. It's completely open. As long as our main goal, our main rule is being civil. Well, we're all friends. We talk. We disagree, but we're not going to go out back and fight about it. We just agree to disagree and move on. I mean, and I'm we just had this discussion. Christina believes that the cops were probably involved, and I'm okay with that. And she can believe that. I don't necessarily believe it, and she's okay with me not necessarily believing it. And so, as long as people are civil, the open mic is a great format to let people come on and talk about these various problems that they have with the cases. So, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that.
Welcome.
So, we've been here for a minute. Is there anything anybody needs to add, Alice? Anything coming up this week for you, or are you still just getting back into things?
No, nothing planned, Jax. Not at the moment, anyway. My dog's wrecking the house. No, not at the moment. Hopefully going to get back into it soon, but just finding my way back again. So,
Awesome.
Thanks for having me back, guys.
You bet. Glad you're here. Susan, anything going on with you? Susan must have stepped away. And yours? You're still doing your thing?
All good. Yep. All good.
Awesome. Rhonda, when's our next dive off into Daniel?
Today, I think for now we're going to be my regular nights, working out well with babysitting and stuff, my grandkids. And I don't know, there could still be some more hot news coming down over the week. Well, Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday morning, about the corrupt people in Oklahoma City. But if not, I'm going to start doing some teachings about Bob Macy.
Ugh.
Because I talk about Bob Macy all the time.
You need to put up a disclaimer on your video. If it's about Bob, bring your own pee, bring your own Pepto. God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to do a deep dive into Bob Macy, I think, and kind of give an idea to those who aren't as familiar with that background, why it matters to Daniel's case. So
yeah, it's good. It's good information too.
Well, and he's such an interesting asshole character that I think people will find it interesting.
Very.
So that's what I'm doing.
All right. Well, Rhonda, get that posted. Head over to her channel. That's Wednesday, right?
Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. All righty. Thank you, Rhonda. Lady Neverly.
All good over here. Today was really, I think that this is kind of a hot button for a lot of people, Kuss Rd, because we're not stupid. Kind of we feel gaslighted. Here they are, just to recap, they bring everything in the kitchen sink over there, unlike to the salvage yard, and then they say there's nothing to see. So, people are not stupid, they're frustrated and they want to talk about it. It's a great topic. Great topic. Looking forward to more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. It is a good topic. Christina, anything coming from the Crime Theory Exchange? What are we doing this week?
We are doing our podcast on Tuesday because I'm gonna go play at a racetrack from Wednesday to Saturday.
12 Central, right?
Yep, 12 Central. And other than that, I started working on a Gregory Allen map. But I'm learning my way around Google Earth. So hopefully I'll have that in the next coming weeks and we can get an idea of where he was for the 10 years that Stephen Avery was sitting in prison.
Well, for that guy, it might be better to just plot where he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm working on.
Excellent. All right. I'd like to thank everyone for showing up and sticking with us here we were at 2 hours and 54 minutes. another long one. But it's an interesting topic. I love talking about Kuss Rd. I know everybody else does too. Next week, we're going to do more dispatch calls. We may recap a few photos as needed. And we're going to talk about the dogs and maybe a few other things. I am going to try to see if we can get someone that can talk intelligently about the dog tracks and dogs themselves. McGillis comes to mind because he's really intelligent about it. I don't know if he'll do it or not, but we'll see. Anyway,
Jack, really quick before you take off, I don't know if anybody else did or not, but I just wanted to remind everybody that the poll on the Foul Play community page is still open, and so we just want to encourage everyone to go and take the poll and give us your feedback in the comments.
Please do. Please let us know, one way or the other, how you feel about it, and that way we can. I don't know how long it's going to stay up. I'm guessing we'll probably leave it up a couple of weeks, to give everybody time to, check it out and think about what it is and what it does, and before we make a decision, because it's really the followers that matter. It's I'm okay one way or the other. It's not I'm kind of 50-50 on it. It's no big deal if we do it, no big deal if we don't. This is something that, but you guys are our followers, so that's the reason we felt like it was important to get your all's feedback. Check out the library. Zoe and Spooky have done a marvelous job of doing that, and there's just so much there, and it continues to grow as we get more open records requests and so forth, trial documents and that kind of thing, photos. Hoping to expand that at some point. And there's links to Discord. You're certainly welcome to. We have an open Discord. If you do come to our Discord, you do have to verify your email. It's just a little, mild security issue thing. But other than that, it's open. You're welcome to join us in our open mics, which are typically on Sunday at 3 Central. And there are times that we do have extra ones and so forth. So thanks everyone for coming, and we'll see you next time. This has been a Foul Play production.